The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
This is Scorpio Sky, and you are listening to the Keepin It Strong Style podcast, and it is the best.
Yo, this is Rich Latta from One Nation Radio. This is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network. We present to you the Ace of Podcasts, Keepin It Strong Style. Let's go. It's the Ace of Podcasts, Keepin It Strong Style. Covering New Japan, they ready to hold it down. Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Josh. Come and hit a job out and bury all the frauds. From the Tokyo Dome over to the G1. Social Suplex is the network where we can get it done. I'ma chill and let them have it, cause this is just an intro. Keeping the strong style, 6 stars from the get-go, boy. Yeah, from Tampa Bay to the Tokyo Dome, this is Keeping It Strong Style with your hosts, Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Joshua Smith. And thank you for listening.
Welcome to Keeping It Strong Style, the ace of podcasts on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Jeremy Donovan here, alongside the young boy Josh Smith. On today's show, we'll be reviewing the G1 special in San Francisco, previewing the first few nights of the G1 Climax 28, and covering all the latest news in the world of New Japan Pro Wrestling. You can support our show and network by subscribing on the podcast app of your choice and leaving a rating and review. You can also get all the podcasts and columns at socialsuplex.com. Go to socialsuplex.com/subscribe to sign up to get the podcasts and columns delivered directly to your email inbox. Also, make sure to check out our friends at purerezuroad.com. Up on the front page right now, they have G1 Climax 27 recommended matches by our buddy Mike Grindle, and he just nailed that list. If you have never watched the G1 or you just want to get hyped for this year's G1, I highly recommend you go to purerezuroad.com and check out that list of recommended matches by our buddy Mike Grindle. All right, Josh, G1 special in San Francisco.
Yeah, man. Seems like this has been a long week.
It has, right?
Like last week, when we covered like the CEO, it just seemed like that was a whole different like lifetime ago. Like the whole, Kenny and the pedophile stuff is like so far in the rearview mirror.
Yeah.
The only reason that anyone's gonna remember is because I just brought it up on the show right now.
Good job. But yeah, I mean, this past week there wasn't really many New Japan shows outside of this G1 in USA.
It's been like a little calm before the storm.
I know that's going to change starting Saturday.
I'm not ready. I'm not, dude. Like I am excited, but it's more so like I don't want to say I don't know what I'm getting into, because obviously I've watched G1s before. I know what it entails, but like I'm not mentally preparing for it. It's not in my like mind's eye at all. Like I've just been focused on G1 special, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh crap! Like
I know it kind of snuck up on me a little bit. I was like, oh crap, that's Saturday.
Speaking of which, like you guys might have noticed if you follow the show or our devoted listeners, we typically will do like a contest or like a prediction sort of deal. We didn't do that this time.
Yeah, man. G1, like we knew it was coming, but at the same time it still like snuck up on us.
I think with like personal stuff and work, we just didn't get around to getting a contest going. But I did see on the Wrestling Squared Circle there's a pick'em contest going on.
Yeah. Also, Voices of Wrestling have a pick'em contest.
Yeah, I think they're both doing it. So I mean, and I would have loved to have done it this year, and I'm sure in the future we will. But Keeping It Strong Style is not going to be running a contest for that. But I think we will be participating in those other pick'em contests. I got to get my pick'ems in.
Yeah, I'm gonna be. I definitely want to enter in the Voices of Wrestling one.
How can you get involved with that one?
If you go to their Twitter account, they have the brackets thing up there, or you just go to their homepage and it's up there.
Okay, and then if you go to the Wrestling Squared Circle, they have one of those Google Docs. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
They got one of the Google Docs where you can make your choices. It's a pinned post right on the Wrestling Squared Circle. I highly recommend that you guys, get involved with that because it's fun, and it's G1 season, baby.
Yeah,
it's here.
And then with the Voices of Wrestling one, the winner gets a copy of Chris Charlton's Eggshells.
Oh man, I'm definitely picking that up.
Yeah,
I cannot wait. I'm hearing like really, really, really good things from people that have already read it, like that are cooler than us and have gotten pre-orders. We haven't really developed
advanced copies.
Yeah, we haven't developed a relationship with Chris yet, but I'm guessing by the time the third book comes out, we'll be getting free copies.
Yeah.
Something. But yeah, there are people that are saying it's like the greatest per Rezu book. It's better than Lion's Pride, which I don't know how that could be possible, but yeah, I can't wait. Yeah. So yeah, definitely. Yeah, you want to get into this show?
Yeah, so G1 special in San Francisco. Let's start with the attendance. I know that's been a big thing, a big point of conversation leading into this show. And from a couple different sources, it sounds like there was 6,333 people in the building.
That's the reported attendance number. I mean, you were listening to Observer this week. That's what
Dave said.
Yeah,
well, he just said over 6,300.
Okay,
what he said.
That exact figure is what I got off of Reason JP, Chris Charlton's Twitter. Mm-hmm. Even though I'm not on Twitter, I went there and I checked some of his posts out. He's a great resource for news and information. If you guys haven't followed Reason JP, do yourself a favor, do that. And that was the number he posted. It's not been confirmed. I don't see anything official. I mean, if they come out and they say it's less than that, I won't be surprised. If they come out and they say it's more than that, I also wouldn't be surprised. But I'm guessing that's probably based on what the people are saying and what we saw, that night, it sounds like that's a pretty accurate number, as far as an estimate goes.
So do you think that's a success, a failure? How do you feel about that number?
Well, a couple things. So, I mean, let's get it right out of the way. I mean, from the hype machine, from New Japan's like Twitter, they're boasting basically this the largest U.S. attended show that New Japan's ever had, which it is. Yep. It's also the largest gate that they've ever done. I think they did something close to like 800K.
Oh, really? I haven't seen the numbers on it.
I think that's what I was hearing. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm off.
Well, I mean, Meltzer said last week that this was probably going to be the largest gate in the Cow Palace just because a lot of the higher priced tickets are bought up first.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's what I was hearing. I don't know how accurate that is. Does that sound crazy?
I mean, I don't know. I have no idea what, the normal like gates are for that kind of stuff.
I've had a long week. I could have
that could be right. I have no idea.
800K sounds like a lot though. Like $1 million gate for 6,000 people. I don't know. We'll have to do some research.
Yeah.
I hate being that show like that has like the bad info. But
at least we're admitting we're not 100% accurate.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't think any of the official numbers have come out anyway. So, I mean, when something more like concrete comes out, but they did the biggest gate they've ever done, the largest attended show, and then what's it called? The largest attended show, biggest gate, and yeah, they broke a bunch of records.
Yeah.
So, but with that being said, I think that a lot of people, the Cow Palace seats about 12,000. And I think a lot of people are expecting, with the success of All In and the popularity of the New Japan brand and how successful the Walter Pyramid show last, what was that, April?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, there's a lot of people that were hypothesizing they're going to do much bigger numbers. I was one of them initially. I was right up there thinking like, hey, they're going to sell out, do 10K. But I think we've kind of covered in detail like all the different factors, whether it be, fatigue from travel, so many different traveling fans. Also the fact that it's not as easy of an accessible area to travel to the way that say like Los Angeles was. The different shows that have been running like CEO, All In, the War of the Worlds tours, and then
there was plenty of opportunities for you to see these New Japan guys.
And I think it was just they didn't announce a card until a couple weeks before the show, which like I think is really what killed them the most. I think a lack of advertising and a lack of promotion.
Yeah, that's one thing I've been hearing. Like there's been like a lack of advertisement, especially like the Japanese like festivals and market stuff in the San Francisco area.
Yeah.
There was very little awareness of the show. So I mean, unless you're like a diehard New Japan fan, it's a possibility that you had no idea that this show was going on.
Now, We had a listener actually send us a photo, right?
Yeah, I wanted to give him a shout out. Clifton Grooms, at Clifton Grooms on Twitter, rocking his Young Bucks Bullet Club t-shirt.
You know, I thought you were about to say his Young Boy t-shirt. and I was about to be like, you know what? That's a great idea. We need to get
a Young Boy t-shirt.
A t-shirt for me.
Yeah.
That would be so cool. I think you're the more popular host of the show. I don't think people.
Well, I guess because I interact. I'm on Twitter more and Facebook. But I mean, you're on Reddit and
It's not just that. You're the face. You're the face of the show. Yeah. So I mean, that'd be cool. Maybe there's some misfits out there that want to wear Young Boy.
People like heels.
I guess
you're a cool heel.
Am I a cool heel?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm a cool heel. We'll see. But yeah, no, that's cool. So what he shared a picture with us. What was that, pre-show?
Yeah, it was right before the show started. He took a picture in front of by the ring.
Okay, what does it look like as far as attendance from what you can see in that photo?
He didn't really. I think it was before. Yeah, it's before anybody really got in. So yeah, there's nobody in the seats. He must have gotten there really early.
They did the old school the Mid-South / Jim Crockett promotion deal where they kept the lights real low in the show.
Yeah.
So every now and again when you could see it, to me, and maybe I don't have a good eye for this, but it seemed like there was a lot of people in the building.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm sure everything behind the stage was cut off. You couldn't see behind that. It's really hard to tell just how many people were there. But to me,
I mean,
it looked like a full house.
Yeah, it looked full on TV, so that was good. I mean,
But there was people. The reports were saying that it was a somewhat empty building.
Right.
That there was empty seats. I didn't really see that. I'm not being an apologist. I think they did a good job on television presenting it in a manner that made it look like it was a pretty full house.
I mean, all the angles and lighting they used, it looked full. The crowd sounded lively.
But you would think if they really were packed, they would have highlighted that.
Right.
Or you would think.
Well, I mean, look at Ring of Honor. We rewatched the Supercard of Honor Kenny and Cody match, and we were there live at that show up high.
It was packed,
and they never showed up high in our sections.
Well, we only watched the one match, so we don't know because I guess if we'd watched the entire broadcast, there's a good chance. I would assume if they're smart that they would have shown how big the crowd was. But during that match, it looked like a decent sized crowd, but nothing
as big as it was, man.
To me, what's funny is it seemed smaller, about comparable, maybe a little smaller than say a Hammerstein Ballroom show.
Right. Yeah.
Which it was double, more than double.
Yeah.
The size of that crowd, but it didn't seem like it on tape. I mean, don't get me wrong, it had a big feel. So I am wondering with that being, I guess we're going off on a tangent, but with that being said, with these numbers though, on the fact that they drew an incredible house, they had a really well attended show. I mean, this is still nothing to sneeze at. I mean, we're talking about, what is this, their third show?
Yeah.
Third show in the U.S., and they've already done bigger numbers than, remember how stoked we were talking about when Supercard of Honor broke 6,000. It was one of the largest attended wrestling shows outside of WWE and WCW in 2 decades. Freaking New Japan just did the same thing, but because of how hot the product is and the notoriety and all the different things attached to that, people are looking at it as a disappointment. Right. Obviously, there's a reason they're coming back again because they're making really good money on these shows.
I mean, I see this attendance as a success. I mean, it's the largest crowd they've done here in the U.S.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's oh my god.
Right.
WWE better watch their back.
No, yeah. I mean, obviously there was room to improve and do better. But I mean, for the first time running in the Cow Palace, I still think it's a success, and I think they're gonna keep growing here in the U.S. The more and more they do shows here, and the more the awareness goes up. I
think it's a learning. It's a lesson for them. It's a learning curve. Hopefully they correct some of these mistakes, maybe with Harold Mai taking over.
Yeah.
There will be better marketing in the future or more market research. But I don't know. They're coming back in September. We'll get to that. But
right.
They got another chance to prove themselves.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think there's a lot of things they could have done differently to do better with this show. A lot of things. So there's definitely criticism to be had there. I don't think it's, I don't want to be that show that's just like, we're just like, New Japan like circle jerk or whatever.
Right. I mean, we're critical on New Japan when it's time to be critical.
There's a lot to be critical as far as the way they marketed this show, and I felt like it could have been better attended for sure. They could have drawn a better house. Yeah. And that's their fault.
And I mean, I think the key thing too is just that I think one of the real like blows to the attendance was the travel. WrestleMania weekend wasn't not too long ago. People
They're
are
sandwiched.
Yeah, and people are going all in.
If they would have done this show instead of the Walter Pyramid, if they would have done the show when the Walter Pyramid was happening
at Cow Palace,
they would have sold out. Yeah, they would have sold the entire thing out, and we'd be talking all in who? Yeah. So, but I mean, with that being said, nothing. There's, it is a slight disappointment in that they could have done better, but it's still a success.
Yeah, and a lot of people have been trying to compare this to All In, and I think one of the big differences here is New Japan never came out and said that they were going to do 10,000 seats.
The thing is, All In is based off of one brand. That's the Bullet Club. Yeah. The Bullet Club is, in reality, I would say in the States, a much bigger brand than New Japan Pro Wrestling is. Yeah. I mean, if the Bullet Club is in the psyche of all the American fan base, on the Indies and the Ring of Honor fans and the New Japan fans, it is a bigger thing. People do associate the Bullet Club brand with New Japan, but at the same time, it's its whole separate thing and entity. Like the Elite being the Elite, that's such a huge deal. Whereas New Japan, I mean, we cover New Japan, we know the fan base, the diehard fan base, people are still getting into it. People are still learning and finding out, but there's a bigger fan base, I would say, for the Bullet Club and the Elite than there is for New Japan as an actual company. Right. So I think that plays a lot into it. Plus, there's the excitement factor of hey, we're being part of something special.
We're being a part of history.
Part of history has never happened before. New Japan had that going for them last April. Mm-hmm. And then they put on that show. It was still a fantastic main event, but they focused more on their, domestic shows, which is, it is what it is one way or the other. You have Sakura Genesis coming up, and you got this Walter Pyramid show. Which one are you going to put your emphasis on? Right. But people that came in, they enjoyed themselves, but it was definitely it was an authentic New Japan show. It wasn't an A-list show. This was much more of an A-list show than that one was.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I think that also played into it. People that were oh, you guys got me the first time, you're not going to get me.
Right. You finessed us.
Yeah, they got finessed. There's only so many people too in the States that can take off time to travel and all that. And I mean, you're going to travel for a New Japan show where you don't even know the card. Right. Yeah. A lot of people did. We remember what was it? They 3,000 or something. Yeah. So a lot of people did. But at the end of the day, if they had announced, a real card earlier, then maybe this would have been more successful.
Yeah. All right. Let's start breaking this show down. Things kicked off with Chaos versus Bullet Club. We had Yoshihashi, Geto, Rocky Romero, Sho, and Yo representing Chaos. And then we had King Haku, Tama Tonga, Tangaloa, Yujiro Takahashi, and the honorary Tongan, Chase Owens.
Chase Owens is not an honorary Tongan.
He's just Tongan.
He's a Tongan. He's a Tongan. If you buy the shirt, you can be an honorary Tongan, but Chase Owens is a real Tongan.
They're representing Bullet Club here. This was a good little opener, a fun way to kick the show off.
This was savage.
Yeah.
This was I don't know, like a Splatterhouse movie. This was just a slaughter. They had King Haku on their
man.
team.
I mean, we mentioned last week. I mean, Haku could have taken these guys by himself.
They had Ming of the Faces of Fear. Speaking of which, shout out to anyone that's listening. If you guys want to see one of the greatest 5-minute wrestling matches in the history of the sport, look up Ming versus the Giant. That's the Big Show from WWE. Ming versus the Giant from WCW Nitro. What year is that? 96?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh my god,
dude, that's a strong style.
You want to talk about strong style? That's one of the greatest Nitro matches. I never knew about it until Rich and James were like, you have to see this Ming versus Giant match. And I was like, what? That sounds terrible. No, trust me when I tell you, that match freaking rules.
Yeah, it's a very good match.
It's really like, it's
one of the best 5-minute matches there is.
It's so stiff. Like it's a stiff match. But no, I'm just being facetious. But this was, what you would expect from an opener. I kind of felt bad for Show.
Yeah, Show wasn't really highlighted in this match.
I just meant he was like with all the B-list. Like he had a team with Yoshihashi, my God, Gato, Rocky, and then Yo was there. But he's Marty Jannetty, so.
Yeah, man. Show was...
No, actually, it was funny. Show was the least featured guy in the whole match.
Yeah, man. Yeah, there wasn't really...
You think maybe he's like recovering from an injury or something like that? Because he didn't really do much in that match.
Yeah. I don't know if he is, or it was just one of the things, that's just the way the match was laid out.
Yeah, I mean, no, this was good. I mean,
technically, he's a junior facing a team of heavyweights.
These guys went 9 minutes, 25 seconds. It was kind of just a showcase for, the Tongans.
Right.
They put over Tama Tonga and Tangaloa big, God. Yeah. We kind of been wondering when they're going to, resurge this year, and it seems like they're starting to get ready, especially with the G1 coming up for Tama.
Yeah. And
King Haku.
Yeah, he had the Tongan death grip on Ghetto.
That was great. Then, I popped for that.
Yeah, that was nice.
I wanted King Haku to come out in those joints he used to wear back in the mid 2000s when he had
the pants. Yeah,
he was like, "No, I'm wearing sweats."
Yeah, ain't nobody's gonna tell him any different.
He had the old school green Bullet Club shirt, the one you can't buy anymore, which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was fun. Everybody got their stuff in. It was exactly what you'd expect. It was a fun opener, and
Tama Tonga hit the gun stun for the win
after a Tongan death grip, right?
Yeah,
Tongan death grip into a gun stun. I mean, who would? What a combo.
That's a deadly combo.
Yo, they need to put the 6-man tag titles on
Haku and God.
Yes. Yes. Haku and God.
They would be never 6-man champs forever.
They would never lose, bro. They would never lose. They could go to every single company and win the 6-man tag titles. Just start in New Japan.
Go to Ring of Honor.
CMLL. They'll just show up in Lucha Underground, take their trios titles, whatever. It doesn't matter. They will just freaking run roughshod of everybody. Oh my God. But yeah, this was really good.
So next up we had Tomo.
Speaking of which, how about JR and Josh Barnett?
Bro. Oh yeah, glad you brought them up, man. JR, he's washed, man.
He's washed. He is so freaking washed.
It's not good, man.
It is bad.
Dude.
It's bad. I'm sorry, dude. And I
love JR too. I mean, we grew up on JR, but I don't know what it is, man. He's been doing these Access matches for 2-3 years now? Mm-hmm. And it's like he doesn't watch the product.
It would be like if you and I were fair weather, like some of these other New Japan podcasts that exist out there right now that I've actually listened to. I'm not going to say any names, but if you're listening, you know who you are. Pretty much everyone but the Super J cast. No, because those guys know what they're talking about. But there's some other podcasts I've been I'll check them out, and I'm like, you definitely only watch big shows. You know what I mean? Because right. You can tell when someone's not knowledgeable on the product. It's like if you're just catching the big shows and you're, just keeping up on social media, and then you try to jump in and and talk about, what's going on. I see it all the time. There's people that try to fake it till they make it, or they try to finesse their way into this thing. And it's you're not watching it.
Right. I mean,
it's clear to a real fan. It's clear that you don't watch this.
Yeah.
And with Jim Ross specifically, Josh Barnett's more knowledgeable about the product than Jim Ross is.
Yeah, he is.
Like, it's bad.
And I think another thing, too, of JR that it comes off, it seems like he's kind of annoyed maybe about how...
He's pissed about something.
About how New Japan runs. Like, here's the thing, JR.
Like,
yes. In your old school territory, yes, tag matches, there was actually rules, and the referee kept the partners in the corners, and there was a tag rope and all this stuff. But obviously, you've been watching New Japan long enough. Their tag matches, it's pretty much whatever goes.
Dude, he doesn't watch tag matches. You know why?
Because they don't do them on
Access. And that's all he doesn't know half these dudes' names. He's never seen their body of work.
Their signature moves.
He doesn't know the names of the moves at all. Which, you know what? Some of that stuff is just nitpicky. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You don't have to call it the Dragon Rush if you call it Dragon Suplex. That's fine. But, like, he doesn't know the moves. He's like, he sounds like Vince McMahon, like circa 19.
What a maneuver!
Yeah, what a maneuver! Like this dude doesn't watch this.
I mean, and the thing is, like, man, you listen to Kevin Kelly and Cyrus.
Freaking Don Callis is a dude who only shows up he's on the Brock Lesnar schedule.
Right. Showed up for the big shows. He's running Impact. He commentates on Impact.
Now, he comes in and he clearly, some of the time, isn't as up to date on everything. Of course, you know, you'll see him make calls where I'm like, well, if you had seen the Road to shows, Don, you would have known. But he never tries to make it seem like he's above the product,
right,
and that they're wrong and the way they're doing things is wrong. Like, he builds the product with the way he calls it, and he's very pretty much clear. Like there's been times where Kevin Kelly will correct him, and he's like, I don't get paid to show up on the other shows.
Yeah, right. you know, just like stuff too, like the brawling on the outside. It's like, we see the brawl on the outside, and we know they don't do the counts, but it just sounds like, he was
getting pissed.
Yeah,
and it's like, well, some of that's valid.
Right. I mean, we complain about the officiating all the time,
but that's not what your job is when you're there. Your job isn't there to tear down the freaking company or the booking.
Right.
Your job is to protect them against that sort of crap, and not bring that crap up, not make the company seem like it sucks. It's kind of like when Kenny Omega and Jericho wrestled, and they wanted to do the no rules or whatever.
Right.
That way he didn't have to Jericho didn't have to bury Red Shoes.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, we want to get away with what we're doing, so we're going to protect Red Shoes. We're going to protect, the company and the integrity of it. And it's like, you're out there calling them on the crap they do. He was talking about the count outs. He was talking about different stuff with the way that the guys work, and instead of telling the story of what they're doing, he's criticizing what they're doing.
Yeah, there's just some calls too they made. I mean, we'll get down later, but just some of the
well, they didn't know the stories.
Right.
They weren't up to date with the stories, so they're making guesstimates, which is understandable because Kevin Kelly has said on record before, they don't get clued in on what's going on.
Right.
They're in the same boat as us. So if you're going to be a color commentator on this product and you're going to be the gateway to the North American audience that's watching on Access, you should probably do a little bit of research. I understand that that's not the easiest for everybody, but I mean, you gotta do a little bit of research. Right, you gotta know a little bit, man.
And I know Mark Cuban really wants JR and Josh Barnett. He thinks they are big names, and he thinks they're a big draw. But if I were him, I would seriously just consider just bringing on Don Callis and Kevin Kelly.
Maybe we should start a petition. I know they've done petitions in the past, but we need to do a petition to Mark Cuban. Ooh, but that's so personal. We're trying to get Jim Ross fired.
Is this personal? Is this personal? you trying to get JR fired?
No, I don't want to get JR fired, but I just don't think that he is a good fit for this particular brand of pro wrestling. And it's amazing, too. I said this to you the other day. I was like, I come out of my room sometimes, and, Jeremy's got his TV in the living room, so he'll be watching MLW. And the first couple times he had MLW on, I was like, bro, are you watching Nitro? Because I heard the voice of Tony Schiavone, and it sounds like it's 1996, 1997 prime Tony Schiavone, he is on, dude.
Yeah, he is.
He is on, and I'm not watching that product like you are, but when I listen to him, I'm like, dude, he's making this product so much better. Then I hear like Jim Ross, and I mean, they're from the same era. I think Jim, is obviously longer in the tooth and different things like that, but dude, like, he's washed. He's washed. Yeah. I'm sorry that I have to say it. It hurts to say that, but like when you compare Tony Schiavone's been away from from
a long time, yeah.
But the way he was able to just jump back in and like he's still, I don't think in the long grand scheme of things that Tony holds a candle. I think he's underrated, and I think he's one of my favorite announcers, or like that's play-by-play.
Yeah,
he's one of the best play-by-play guys, but I don't think he's as good as Jim Ross was. When it comes to legacies and all that. But in 2018. Oh my God, he's so much better than him. And then Josh Barnett too is saying a lot of stupid stuff, dude.
Yeah,
like, it's just bad. It's bad.
Miss you, Kevin Kelly, Don Callis.
I really missed Don. I would have rather watched this on the Japanese feed.
Yeah,
with the way it was, like literally. I'm not usually like that. Like, I'm not usually like, I prefer the Japanese feed. I like to know what's going on.
Right.
But on that night, I was like, dang, we should have just changed our VPN codes. And
right. Listen to Milano Collection AT.
Yeah, that would have been better, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, so next up we got Tomohiro Ishii and Toru Yano against Minoru Suzuki and Zack Sabre Jr. These teams have been feuding for a while now.
I gotta make a confession. I made a mistake in the past on this show. I said that these guys have wrestled 3 times on television, and actually they didn't wrestle each other at the Walter Pyramid show. That was Ishii and Okada.
Okay.
But it felt, Ishii and another Chaos member taking on this, team kind of similar.
Right.
But I think this is the second time that they've wrestled after, because they wrestled at Dominion, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then they wrestled at the Rev Pro. No, wait, no. That was Ishii and Okada also.
Yeah, it was Ishii and Okada.
Yeah.
Yeah. But a big part of these matches is the Ishii and Suzuki interactions.
Yes.
And then also like the Zack Sabre Toru Yano stuff, which has been great. And all these guys are going to be in the G1, so that's another. The backstory is the stuff going on in Rev Pro. Plus, the backstory all these guys have with one another, and then also the G1's coming up. So I like this match.
Yeah, there's a lot of story elements here in this match, and the interactions between Ishii and Suzuki. Oh my gosh, dude.
It's been awesome. It's one of my favorite things like going right now. Mm-hmm. I will tell you though, I've been sad. Like today, I was driving, and you know what I thought to myself?
What?
I really miss Hinari and Ishii.
Oh yeah.
I like when it first started, I was not like so into it, but I was like, this Hinari kid, whatever. But he kind of grew on me, and the 2 dudes that I think kicked the most crap out of him this year, Ishii and Suzuki. Now they're going at it.
Yeah.
And I kind of miss little Hinari.
I'm sure at some point there'll be a multi-man match where he tries to get back at that.
I'm sure. But yeah, this was great. And then, the stuff with Yano and Zack Sabre Jr. from the previous match with Yano was hilarious in this match. I mean, he's always hilarious, but like the stuff where like he's legitimately scared of Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah.
Like he's so scared of him. Like the rope break stuff is so like it has so much more gravity because he's like, please don't grab my arm. Like, please don't touch me. Like,
yeah, he's like, no.
Yeah. He's like, how do I make it out of this match without getting tied up and getting like stretched?
Yeah.
It's been great.
And the thing I love here, so Yano picked up the win here. I thought this was great storytelling. They went for the same spot where he goes for the low blow and Sabre catches his arm in the legs.
They got me. I thought he was going to
do the same finish, but Yano rolled him up. And
if you were smart, you would have probably guessed like, oh, he's going to catch him again and then get rolled up. And, you probably would have predicted that if you're like a smart booker. Me, being a freaking mark, I saw him go for the low blow and I was like, oh, he didn't get it last time. So this time he's definitely going to get it. And then he caught him again. I was like, oh, I'm an idiot. He got him again. Now he's done.
Right.
And then he got out of it and ended up still getting the roll up. And I was like, oh my God, they got me. They got me again.
Yeah.
And so it like kind of put the match over harder for me because they flipped the script like 3 times right there. And I was like, they're so freaking smart.
Yeah, I love that it was a callback to the last match. I also love the fact that it's showing fans that Yano can beat anybody.
But
coming into G1,
he did need that Ishii lariat.
Yeah,
to help get that roll.
Hold up.
But yeah, going into G1.
I mean, but Yano still got the pin, and just going into G1, you never know who Yano is going to beat.
Yano's gonna beat like a name.
Yeah, I mean, he always does. He always beats Suzuki all the time. I mean, I'm not sure if they're in the same block or not this year. I think they might be in different blocks this year.
Remember last year we did feud of the year and like one of our top feud. Like I think that was like voted number 3 over.
Well, yeah, Suzuki and Yano. I know Yano and Sabre. Yano and Sabre are in the same block, so they'll run it again. And I wouldn't be surprised if Yano pinned him again. And
I will be. I really Zack Sabre Jr.
And you continue over the heat instead of Yano Suzuki this year. It's Yano Sabre.
I see what you're saying, but they got big plans for Sabre. He's not doing no job.
Yes, they have big plans for Sabre, and there's plenty of people Sabre's going to beat, but there's a lot of matches. Like he's got to lose. He's got to lose to somebody.
You might be right, but I'm just saying right now with Zack Sabre. I mean, you could be right, but I think he's going to come in pissed.
Yeah,
and he's going to freaking torture. Yeah, Toru Yano.
The thing, he's going to come in too pissed, and he's going to be so focused on torturing him, and then Giannis is going to pull some stuff.
You're wrong.
Just like Suzuki.
You're wrong. I disagree with you.
I guess
he's so much. I don't want to say he's smart as Suzuki because no one's smart as Suzuki. Suzuki-san, if you're listening.
Whoa, you should.
No, Ichiban.
Yeah. I'm not trying to,
But he's Zack Sabre Jr. is one of the smartest wrestlers out there. He's a thinking man's wrestler. He has concentrated aggression, and he's going to pick Yano apart. Right. Yano's going to try all that crap, but when it's all said and done, he's going to get freaking stretched, and he's going to end up tapping.
All right. We'll see who's right about that one.
They're probably not even in the same block. We're just
they are. I looked at
okay.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, like, we'd be those idiots who are, like, having this long discussion about, like, who's going to win a match in the G1 that's not even going to happen.
Yeah, no, Yano and Sabre are in the same block.
But, hey, I really did dig this match. I know the first match was just whatever, but, the first match, I've heard a lot of people kind of be down on the undercard, but I'm like, okay, you got King Haku. You got this really fun, interesting tag match, and then that brought us to our third match of the night, which was Tanahashi and Kushida taking on, the team from Bullet Club, Hangman Page, and Marty Scurll.
Right, so you had you had the heavyweight ace and the junior ace.
Super tag team.
The super ace tag team here.
The coach Taguchi was out there with them too.
Yeah.
So that was nice. And I thought this was good.
Yeah, this was another good match here.
It wasn't anything like out of this world. I saw a lot of people that kind of like, I don't know. A lot of people tended to like this. I like the tag match prior to it more.
So did I. And kind of what they were building off of this match, I mean, there was kind of some more kind of fallout from the last Tanahashi Bullet Club match from Dominion, where Scurll was on that team that beat Tanahashi, Mysterio, and Liger. Yeah. So there's still some of that kind of flowing.
Man, I really want a Mysterio to be on this card.
Yeah.
I'm like still disappointed that I really thought Mysterio was going to be on this card.
So did I, man. And then also, too, they're also continuing some of the Hangman Page and Tanahashi stuff. They wrestled on the Ring of Honor UK show one of those nights. And Tanahashi got the pin on Hangman that night. And so it's just interesting that...
You're talking about from Ring of Honor?
Yeah, from Ring of Honor.
Okay. I thought you said Red Pro.
No.
Maybe you didn't. I don't know. I'm tired. It's been a long week.
Yeah, the Ring of Honor, the Honor United tour. And Hangman Page was the one that got the win here in this match. And Hangman and Tanahashi are facing off against each other in the A block. So...
Yeah, so last week, Jeremy predicted the right match winner here. So let's move on. Listen, if you tell me that Tanahashi's wrestling anybody not named Okada, I'm going Tanahashi. Right. That's just what's gonna happen.
Right. Well, also, you got Tanahashi and Kushida, both aces.
You tell me Tanahashi's going against Kenny Omega, I'm taking Tanahashi. Period. Yeah. He's the ace. I don't care. Tell me he's going against Brock Lesnar, Tanahashi. Walter, Tanahashi. Deontay Wilder, Tanahashi. It doesn't matter who it is. Daniel Cormier. Tanahashi's gonna win, bro. He's the ace of the universe. Yeah. But yeah, so they didn't win here.
Well, technically, it wasn't his fault.
Yeah, he didn't get pinned. But yeah, I mean, I didn't think this was anything like remarkable, but I mean, it was solid, good action, and the Bullet Club team went over.
Yeah.
And Hangman again, very impressive. He's just continued to impress. I'll tell you what, and I said this that night while we were watching him. He's definitely going to take a lot of falls in this G1. I don't think he'll be one of the top guys by any means, but I do see him having one of those like Sonata runs from like 2 or 3 years ago where he beats a big name.
Yeah,
he's beaten a big name on the during the G1.
I think he might get a couple more wins than you think he's going to get.
I mean, I don't think he's going to beat. He's not going on a Hanma run, but
right.
I don't think he's going to get more than 4.
Really?
That's why he's here. He's a young boy, basically. Mm-hmm. Hangman Page is there to put people over. That's the only reason he's there.
I can see him getting a little bit. I can actually see him getting like 8 points, at least.
I mean, I could be wrong. 8 points would be 4 wins.
Okay, I thought you meant 4 points.
No, I think at most he's gonna get like 8 points. That's his max.
My bad. I thought you were saying he was gonna get 4 points. That's why I was like,
No, you get 2 points for a match.
Right. So I thought that you were saying he's only gonna win 2.
He's gonna win 3 or 4.
Yeah.
But I think he's gonna beat somebody. He's gonna get a big win.
He might beat Tanahashi based off this little rivalry they have going on here.
I could see that. I'll have to do some more research. I haven't really looked too much at the brackets after we kind of discussed them in the past, and we'll get more into it. But I'll tell you this: I'll say it again. You listeners, remember, he's beating a big name. I don't know if it's a Suzuki. I don't know if it's a Tanahashi. If it's your Flairs, your Wyndhams, your Races. No, but he's going to beat somebody.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be his consolation in this tournament. That's my prediction. So
yeah, that rite of passage is going to get somebody.
That's an awesome move. That is an awesome move. It's scary, but it's an awesome move.
It is.
So this brings us to the meat and potatoes of the, after those, what was that, 3 openers?
Yeah. The first title match of the night, the never openweight title. The champion Hiroki Goto defending against the challenger Jeff Cobb. And overall, this was a very good match, but I have to say I am a little bit disappointed with it.
I'm not a little bit disappointed. I am a lot disappointed in it. I'm a lot disappointed.
Yeah. I honestly, I was expecting, this is the never openweight title, I was expecting a strong style match. I was expecting these guys to go ball to the wall and just striking each other and
We didn't get it, man.
Yeah.
We didn't get it. We'll talk about some other matches that were on this card, but there were way more hard-hitting matches.
Yeah.
Than there were actually everything except for the tag match that followed this was more hard-hitting. Not only were they better matches, but they were more violent. And it's not that I'm a sadist and I have to see violence, but I mean, you got Goto in there, and Goto's Mr. Never Openweight champion. Right. Mr. Strong Style World Champion. That's what this title basically is supposed to be. And yeah, I was let down. I love hoss battles. I love slobber knockers. That's what I thought I was getting. And we got a solid wrestling match. I'm not by any means sparing the match and saying
right. I mean, it was still a good match.
It was good,
but it was not what I expected.
It wasn't really good.
Yeah,
it wasn't great or anything like that. It was. It's been like Goto's whole year.
Yeah, I mean, I set my expectations pretty high for this match. And yeah.
Goto's been one of the biggest disappointments as far as, he hasn't been bad. He's had 2 good matches this year. He had a great match with Suzuki, and then the match he had with Juice was excellent.
Yeah.
Everything else been very mediocre.
He's been mailed it in.
Mediocre.
Yeah.
And, Jeff Cobb isn't exempt from this either. I've said it before. I think that Hiroki Goto wrestles up to the level of his competition in many cases, and I felt like this was an opportunity for Jeff Cobb. This is his first singles match in New Japan.
Right.
Well, I mean, if you want to count the CEO show last week when he wrestled Chase
Owens, yeah.
But I wouldn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't count that.
He had a couple singles matches this year with Suzuki and with Ishii outside of New Japan. in OTT and in Rev Pro.
Right.
But with that being said, this was his on the big stage in front of a national audience. This is
his hometown crowd. He's the All Pro Wrestling Universal Champion.
I forgot.
Came out with that belt.
Yeah, I forgot he came out with that belt. I was like, what is that belt? What is that? All Pro?
Yeah, it's actually a pretty like decent sized indie in the California area.
So many super indies.
Yeah.
This is New Japan. No, I'm just playing. But I expected Jeff Cobb to really, really deliver. And I'll say this. Jeff Cobb is a guy that I like a lot. I think he's great in tag team matches. In tag team matches, he gets to come in and he can do the hot tag. He can show off his awesome spots. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to putting together a really, really compelling wrestling match, I still don't think he's there. I would take Michael Elgin over Jeff Cobb any day when it comes to in-ring work. And when it comes to putting together a great wrestling match, when it comes to super heavyweight guys like him, he doesn't crack the top for me. I wouldn't put him up there with a Rusev. I wouldn't put him up there with a Walter or Keith Lee.
Keith Lee, yeah.
These are guys that are in the similar size as him. I don't think he's as good as like Moose. I think he's very good. I think he's a excellent athlete. He is a good wrestler, but I think he has a lot to grow. And maybe there are probably people that are listening to me say this that think like I'm being hypercritical, but like show me the great Jeff Cobb matches that he's had one-on-one.
Right. Like I can't really name you one that's been like out of this world.
No, I can show you Michael Elgin, and I'm using Michael Elgin as an example because they wrestle a similar style, suplex heavy, very similar. Almost same body size. Yeah, I would take a Brian Cage over him. Jeff Cobb.
Oh yeah. Brian Cage is awesome.
My favorite Jeff Cobb matches have been the edited matches that I've seen of him as Matanza Cueto. Much better.
Right.
Much better. I don't know if, live they were as good, but I've found the storylines and the character work as Matanza with that giant mask and crap more compelling than Jeff Cobb has been. And I've watched Jeff Cobb live myself many times. And he's never bad. He's never been bad. I've never seen him have a bad performance. He's always on.
Yeah.
But, he's a guy where like, I don't think he has great matches. I think he has good matches.
Yeah.
He's like Cody of the super heavyweights.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And I think that he needs to do more.
Yeah.
Like, he's great. Those Chosen Brother tag matches.
Yeah, him and Matt Riddle. Yeah.
The tag matches that he had with Elgin. They had some.
Yeah, those are some good. Yeah,
they had really great tag matches. He fits that role really great. But when he has to sell and he has to, put together a compelling wrestling match, he just doesn't do it for me right now.
Yeah,
and I want him to. I like Jeff Cobb.
Yeah, it's a funny thing. Like I've gotten hyped. Like WrestleMania weekend, we saw him a couple times, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna see Jeff Cobb live. And then like after his matches, I was just kind of like,
well. I don't want to say the Ishii match during WrestleCon was that was like the best match I've seen of Jeff Cobb.
Right.
That was really good.
There was another match. I can't remember. Was it
him and Suzuki? At Rev Pro.
But even that, I was like more impressed with Suzuki than I was with.
The Ishii match was better the night before. I like Jeff Cobb.
I like him too. He's good. There's nothing absolutely wrong with being at the level he's at, but he could be better.
Yeah, this wasn't a great match, and it was enjoyable. The crowd was invested in Cobb. They were booing Goto.
Right. Well, yeah, Cobb, like we mentioned.
And I was disgusted with this crowd. I was disgusted.
What are they? Are they trying to fire Goto? They don't care about Goto's family?
This was Money in the Bank all over again. Shades of Jinder and Roman. This crowd, they didn't even want to give Goto a chance. They decided before the match started that they were just gonna crap all over Goto. No, I'm just playing, but I am just joking. Honestly.
That's an inside joke. But Jeff Cobb, he's a hometown boy. People weren't having Goto. He hasn't been great this year. They wanted to see a title change. They wanted a title go with their hometown boy. But
and it wasn't his night. This match was 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Didn't it seem longer?
It did.
It seemed a lot longer than a 12-minute match. I felt like they went like long. That's weird. All they had to do for me to like this match, is just beat the crap out of each other. Here's the thing, though. I shouldn't be too critical because here's what I think happened. Goto was like, I'm the king of strong style. I'll take on anybody. F you, Shibata. F you, Goto. You know, all these guys. And then he got in the ring with Minoru Suzuki, and he got killed in January. He got killed. And he came back after that, and he had that hematoma over his eye, and he said, never again.
Yeah. He's like, I'm straight.
He said, I know who the real king is. Never again. I'm never doing that again. And ever since then, we have not seen Goto go to war.
Yeah.
Like, we haven't.
Like, the closest thing was a juice match.
Yeah. And even then.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't think you want... he's not with the smoke.
Yeah, he don't want the smoke no more.
So, your champion... Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. You know what? Take that back. The match with Michael Elgin was the Michael Elgin match.
Oh yes.
Was that really good?
I liked them.
Was the 3-way at Dominion better?
No, I like the one-on-one match better.
Yeah, but give him some props. The match with Elgin
Big
was
Mike,
good.
yeah, that was a good match.
It was good. But still, you can't get rid of the other matches he's had this year. You can't get rid of the Evil match. You can't get rid of that Beer City
Bruiser.
Like, you can't get rid of that crap. That stuff happened.
Yeah. But here, you know, he got the win with the GTR and retained the title.
And he got booed out of the building.
Yeah.
Nah, it wasn't that bad, but it was audible.
Yeah.
He got heat, man.
He did.
Chaos or heels, bro. And that brings us to our next match, which was for the IWGP Tag Team titles, the heavyweight tag team titles, as your champions and mine, the mother effing Young Bucks, took on the team of LIJ, Evil, and Sonata, the former champions.
Yeah, and you know, this was a very good match.
I enjoyed the heck out of this match.
I've been just loving, like, every Young Bucks match I see. I just like love it. Like, those guys work so hard, they work so smart, and they know how to put together good matches, great matches.
Dude, at this point, they're putting together great matches.
Yeah.
They're did you watch the press conference?
I did not get a chance to watch the press. I saw some of the comments on Twitter, but I didn't see them.
Bro, Matt was ripping them open during the press conference, and he was making like little snide remarks about, you know, all these other tag teams come together for a couple years, and you know they're the next big thing, and then they, you know, either break up or get injured or get called up to the main roster.
Yeah.
And they're done. And he was like, the Young Bucks been together 15 years, 16 years, and he's like, we are on fire. Have you seen the run that we're on? We're the best tag team in the world today. He's like, every single time we wrestle, it's a match of the year contender. And I'm like, dude, it really is.
Yeah, and you know, I forget which interview this was, but in the past, they've said that, you know, they treat every match like it's their, like, big show match.
Yeah.
And it shows, even like their Ring of Honor TV matches, they're out there doing crazy stuff.
They had an awesome match with the Best Friends on Ring of Honor TV in like February.
Yeah.
The match they had from War of the Worlds with the Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Fire. That was the best match of that whole tour, in my opinion.
Yeah, and then the freaking nothing against the Briscoes the other night.
Yeah,
the world.
They had an awesome match with the Briscoes.
Like, man, these guys are just amazing.
They've had those wars with SCU. SCU. This podcast is the worst podcast I've ever been on. No, the wars they had with SCU, like those multi-man matches where they were having the street fights
and the ladder war.
The ladder war at Best in the World. That's just their Ring of Honor work.
Yeah.
You go that 3-way match that they had at PWG with the Chosen Brothers and the Rascals when they left. That was the last one in Reseda. Just incredible. That's where it is, right? Reseda?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Legion Hall?
Yeah.
That match was incredible. The match that they had with freaking Ishii and Okada in Australia was just awesome. The two matches that they had with Roppongi 3K, which I still think that the second match they had from back in February is one of the best matches of the year. That's like one of my favorite tag matches. The first match they had with Evil and Sonata. Obviously, the match they had with the Golden Lovers.
Yeah.
Like,
dude, these guys, the run, this is an incredible run right now.
Yeah. I know we're not the only ones to say this, but like, when you talk about the Young Bucks and the fact that they are a main event act right now, you have to consider them as one of, like, a candidate for Wrestler of the Year.
Yeah.
Like, back in December, when we were starting Wrestler of the Month, we awarded that month to this team, LIJ, Evil and Sonata, because they, were great that month. They had the best matches in the tournament during that month. They won the
World Tag League. Yeah.
The Tag League, and we ended up giving them, and that was like when we set the precedent in my mind, where I was like, it doesn't, to be Wrestler of the Month, if a tag team is the best act and has the best matches, they should win. At this point, like, it seems crazy, but like the Young Bucks, you got to consider them Wrestler of the Year candidate when you're talking about that. And I mean, at what time in history has any tag team, and I know, like, I get flack from Rich and you guys for not being as much on the bandwagon of the Young Bucks but I try to be objective. And I mean, could you ever say this about any tag team ever in the history of the sport, where you would say, hey, this tag team act is better than any single wrestler by himself?
I can't. Nothing's really coming to mind.
I mean, I don't think you can make that argument. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's kind of the thing. Like,
I don't think you could.
Like I was saying last week with them on Ring of Honor, like, they should be in the main event of every Ring of Honor pay-per-view until you can get a singles match that can top them.
Dude, I mean, there was a time where Rock and Roll Express and the Midnight Express ran at the top of the card no matter what promotion they were in, because they drew.
Right.
That was the hottest angle. That was the hottest act. And, and the Fantastics too. Like, that's what they did.
Yeah.
There was a time in Georgia and also in Mid-Atlantic before, Jim Crockett Promotions, where, like, those were tag team territories and the tag teams were in the main event.
Yeah.
You don't see that anymore, but, like, obviously the Bucks do. They're the main event when they travel in the indies and stuff like that, but right. At this point, Ring of Honor needs to put them at the top.
Yeah. Yeah.
They need to. And this match was excellent.
This was a brilliant match, and just some of the false finishes and near falls really got me, especially the indie taker on the chair.
You know who was great in this match? Evil and Sonata.
Yeah.
Especially Sonata.
Yeah, they were on.
Sonata was excellent in this match. Like, I enjoyed the first match that these two teams had at Dominion a little bit more.
Yeah.
For the story elements, for the work by Nick Jackson in that match.
Yeah, I feel like they had a little bit more time in that match.
But Sonata was more impressive in this match. The stuff he was doing, the high flying he was doing, he went balls to the wall. Like, he was letting it all hang out. Like, he didn't care.
Yeah, man. But yeah, the false finish is like, the indie taker spot on the chair, where Nick barely made the save. Like, I thought that was it, and Nick, like, jumped in the last second.
You know what, one thing was weird? I didn't like that human centipede spot.
Oh, at the very beginning. Yeah.
That brought back bad memories for me. I was like, ooh, human centipede. No, I'm just playing. I like when they were stealing each other's finishers. Yeah.
Well, also too, like the Magic Killer, because that's like LIJ's finisher. Mm-hmm. But they hit that, like, oh crap, it's done.
I thought it was done too. And if Sonata would have been doing his job, after I just got done praising him, but if he would have been doing his job and running,
you had one job, Sonata.
One job, Sonata. You would have definitely been champions. But they hit Nick with that first, and then later they hit Matt with it. Matt kicked out.
Yeah.
Of the freaking Magic Killer. That was Matt Jackson, bro. Like, it's funny. He's the older one, and like, you would think he would be the hot tag guy because he's bigger now and he's like more the body guy, but he's the guy who's doing more of the selling.
Yeah,
he's still selling that back.
Still selling the back, man.
But he's the guy that, like, towards the end of matches, you kind of know he's either going to get pinned or he's going to have the fiery comeback, because he's done such an excellent job being resilient this year and, like, making it out of like hope spot after hope spot. Like, he's been awesome.
Yeah. And I gotta say, I'm really excited to see where this tag division is going to go if Young Bucks still as the champs. I'm curious to see who they're going to challenge, who's going to be the next challengers.
I want to see them and versus Suzuki and Zack Sabre.
Ooh. I want to see them against KES. I think that could be.
I do too. I want to see that. I cannot wait for the tag league this year.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden, I cannot wait for the tag league. I would like to see them go against Elgin and Cobb. Oof. Tell me that wouldn't be great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and obviously the Young Bucks, they pick up the win here.
G.O.D.
Meltzer driver.
We'll get more to it, but obviously.
That's why I didn't mention it. I was
like... I want to see them go against G.O.D.
Yeah. So, yeah, Young Bucks pick up the win. Meltzer driver on Evil.
Yeah, I felt like in this match, they made LIJ look strong because they seemed to be on top and getting most of the near falls up until the very end, and then they ate the Meltzer driver, and that was 1, 2, 3. Mm-hmm. And I think that was smart because LIJ obviously taking the loss, they needed to look good, and they looked great.
Yeah,
they looked super strong. And if in a few months they came back and got another title shot and took the titles off these guys, I would not be surprised if LIJ are the guys that take the titles back.
Right. I mean, when the time comes, I think this would be a great Wrestle Kingdom match.
Yeah, they're great. I'd like to see someone from outside come in. I don't know who. I don't know. Can you think of a good tag team that should come in? Ringkampf.
Who?
Ringkampf.
Who's that?
That's Walter and oh my God, who's in Ringkampf? What's his name? Why am I blanking? I'll look it up real quick.
Right. Yeah, I'm trying to think of other teams that would be good to come in. I mean, I don't know. With, the whole New Japan and CMLL relationship, I know that's kind of strong, but I would love to see the Lucha Bros.
Oh, well, I think that Timothy Thatcher, Walter and Timothy Thatcher.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna get it all in personally.
Yeah, is
the Lucha Brothers, but yeah, that'd be a good tag team to go against, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're juniors. And that really wouldn't be fair if they bring in that junior tag team
to face the big bucks. Yeah.
Oh my God. But yeah. So anyway, so this was a really good match. I would rate it about 4 stars.
Yeah, 4 stars. Yeah.
I was like 3.25 on that Goto match.
Yeah.
But this was solid. I will say this. I still liked the Dominion match better.
Yeah, I liked the Dominion match better. Here's the difference. This match was like a sprint. Yeah. Dominion match was storytelling.
It was like an epic classic. This one was still very, very, very good, but it didn't have that same feel.
Right. So after this, they had the announcement of the U.S. returns that are coming in September and November. So September 30th, they'll be returning to the Walter Pyramid.
What's the name of that show?
I was just about to ask you. It's
Strong Style Explodes?
No, Fighting Spirit.
Explosion?
Fighting Spirit Awakens or something like that.
Fighting Spirit All Over You.
Oh my God.
Have you seen those? I saw something on Reddit where there was 2 colognes. One was called King of Sports, the other one was called Fighting Spirit.
Yeah.
And I was like, my God, I need those. I don't know what that. I assume that like Fighting Spirit is like literally the distilled and exact replica of the pheromones that Shibata like has. Yeah. And I need to smell like Shibata. I mean,
God, here we go. It's Fighting Spirit Unleashed.
I thought it was Fighting Spirit.
Yeah, so
explosion, just explode.
Yeah, so Fighting Spirit Unleashed, and then in November, they'll be back with the Lions Break Project 1.
Yeah, and those Lions Break Project shows, there's 2 of them, right?
Yeah.
What's the deal with those?
To me, I'm guessing it's going to be the young lions that come through the LA dojo.
Oh, well, they'd probably bring in the Japanese young lions
it'll be like a joint, like Young Lions show.
Smart. That's smart. That'd be fun. That'll be really fun. And you know what? I bet you they'll even bring in some of the some indie guys from like the SoCal area, I'm assuming. Yeah. And kind of like how they have guys coming from like K-Dojo and all that sort of stuff. I bet you they do that. Yeah. Like Brody King or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, so that'll be cool. So yeah, they made that announcement, which we talked about last week. Will Ospreay, the freaking idiot, spoiling it before they even got to announce it. Yeah. But yeah, after that we got the match between Kazuchika Okada and Will Ospreay of Chaos taking on Tetsuya Naito and Bushi.
All right, so a couple things here from the entrance. First of all,
Jim Ross said that this is a title match.
He did? I think.
Yeah, so Jim Ross was saying idiotic stuff like while they were coming out, he said that this was a title match.
For what titles?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Also, like, JR was talking about Hiromi Takahashi during this match.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my goodness.
But we got to talk about Okada and this entrance. Two things. First of all, new entrance music, which was debuted on the Strong Style UK tour. It's a remix.
I think it was debuted originally during the Suzuki 30th anniversary show.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I think that was what happened.
So yeah, it's a remix of his original theme. How do you feel about that?
I don't like it as much,
yeah.
But I haven't had a chance to really hear it. It sounds kind of cool, but like, you don't mess with greatness. That'd be like messing with Naito's song.
Yeah, like why mess? Like if it's not broke, why fix it? Like, and the second thing, this man came out looking like Vinny Marcellia from the Kingdom, from Ring of Honor, with the freaking red balloons.
I don't know what that's about.
Like, is this man secretly like a Kingdom mark?
What if the Kingdom is going to be like part of Chaos, and it's all a tease?
Oh,
no, I don't think that's going to happen. There are story elements. People are talking about what's going on with Okada. Obviously, like, we're not getting like the cocky, arrogant Rainmaker who controls the wrestling world. We're getting this
fun, like.
He's coming out with a cutoff shirt.
No coat. Coat. What was up with his hair? Like,
I don't know. He's spiking his hair now, which is like whatever. And it's like I've heard people. I've heard two camps. I've heard one camp of people be like, he is like just out there to have fun. He's having the best time of his life. There's no pressure on him to perform, to carry the company because he's not the champion anymore. But then there's this other camp, which I'm more inclined to like agree with, where they're like, he is utterly depressed and lost because he doesn't have that belt and he has lost his position, and he's trying his best to mask it with all this like fun and this Scooby-Doo. Yeah. But deep down it's a cry for help.
Yeah.
And as a person who struggles with depression, I can see the signs. He is manic. Okada is losing his crap. And there's only one word I need to say, two words. New pants and balloons. Those two things tell me all I need to know about what's going on with Kazuchika Okada right now. And he is in dire straits. I think that people who are listening to this show, I think people who are part of this community need to come together. They need to find something nice to do for Okada. Okay? Like, get him a nice little gift basket. Make him a mixtape of some of your most positive, like, songs. Write down your thoughts and prayers and put them in, like, a booklet or something like that. We need to do something. Like, take a collection up for this man. He needs to know that we're still behind him because he is lost.
Yeah. So, man, I wasn't expecting that, but yeah, man. Definitely some weird stuff going on with the Rainmaker.
Yeah. And you know what? I just thought to myself when he lost the belt, I was like, you know what? I think he's going to take a long, hard look in the mirror and say, you know what? What was different this time? Pants. And he would go back to having one of the tightest gears that Okada's gear was some of the best gear in the history of the sport.
He's going to say, sorry, Mama Kazu, I'm going back to trunks.
No, he doubled down on it. Down. I heard actually that he had to get new gear because of Wrestling in the Rain, which and maybe that's why like he doesn't have the jacket right now.
Gotcha.
But I you know what, I've always wondered, like, these guys wear these like metallic, like plasticky gear and they sweat in it. Like, how do they get that stuff clean? Like, where you're on the road every day?
I have no idea.
I think they would have to probably like hand wash it every day, like in the sink, and then like air dry it, because I don't know how.
We'll have to ask the young boys. I'm sure the young boys are there.
Well, they wear trunks. The trunks is a little different. I'm talking about guys that wear...
No, I'm saying the young boys clean their...
Oh, that's right.
Their gear.
You're so much smarter than me, bro.
But he should need to definitely reconsider the pants, because as the American Dream would say, job guys wear pants, baby. Men of Venice wear trunks.
If Dusty was there, he'd be like, "That's not for you, baby.
Yeah,
that's not for you."
Which is hilarious. Like Cody, like switched to pants, switched to long tights, even though Cody said like, "Yeah, my dad said like you should always wear trunks."
Yeah. Well, when I guarantee you, like one of these days, like Cody's gonna go back to trunks.
Yeah.
But yeah, so enough about Okada. So Will Ospreay was there. He lost his belt too.
Yeah.
And then Naito came out. One of the loudest pops of the entire night. I think even a bigger pop than Okada and Ospreay even.
Yeah.
And then, Bushi was there.
With his, 3 tongues sticking out of his mask.
Yeah. Whatever.
This match, I mean, it was there.
I wouldn't even say it was very good.
Yeah, it was average.
They mailed it in.
It was fine.
It was below average, I thought. I didn't even think it was like that.
It was depressed Okada and T-shirt Naito.
Yeah, we got T-shirt Naito and T-shirt Bushi on one of the biggest. Yeah,
well, Bushi always wears a T-shirt and then takes it off later.
That's true. We were talking about it actually when they were coming out, and I was like, "What are we getting?" And Rich was like, "We're getting, full suit Naito," and I was like, "Nah, we're getting T-shirt Naito," and you were like, "We're getting hoodie Naito." We got 3 Naitos: hoodie Naito, T-shirt Naito, and then full suit mega final form Naito.
Yeah,
we got T-shirt Naito this night. Like he didn't give an F. Like care less.
Yeah,
and they had a match. We got the second iteration of Scooby Dooby Doo from
Okada. Yeah,
Okada, which is always fun. But, I want the Rainmaker back. I don't know what's going on with him. I'm assuming this is part of the storytelling.
Oh, yeah, it has to be.
And I don't know what this means for G1. We've never seen Naito we've never really seen Naito like this. Or, I'm sorry, Okada like this going into the G1.
There's just going to be a couple upsets, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about, Okada's on, a downturn as far as, the story goes. Naito's on a downturn as far as the story goes. Tanahashi is only guy that's up is Omega out of the big 4.
Yeah, interesting. But yeah, this match ended with Ospreay hitting the Robinson Special, followed by the Stormbreaker on Bushi for the win here.
I think we both predicted that.
Yeah,
which is only right because Bushi sucks. I'm sorry,
I know you said during the match, it doesn't matter how many Bushironis you do, you still suck.
I don't remember saying that.
You said that.
Yeah, I was in the mood that night. I was ready for this match to be over too because I was trying to go watch UFC. I mean, this show went long, bro. This show started at 8. It went to almost 12:30.
Yeah, it was scheduled for a 4.5 hour block.
I didn't think they were gonna go that long though. I thought it was just one of those things where they schedule it and then I didn't think it was gonna go that long. But yeah, so that brings us into what was it? The triple main event, I would call it.
Triple main event.
We got the match between the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion Hiromu Takahashi, the Ticking Time Bomb, taking on Dragon Lee, CMLL, who, by the way, just won the King of the Indies tournament. The night before.
Yeah, the night before. He had to wrestle 3 singles matches in one night.
Who do you knew a little bit more about this, right? I know in the finals you said he went up against
he went against Flip Gordon. He also went against Brody King, and I forget the first guy he wrestled.
Joey Janela.
I had it up here with
PCO.
My Twitter refreshed.
You said that was a tournament that was in the local area, and he had gone up again, or I guess it was put on by All Pro Wrestling.
Yeah, All Pro Wrestling, and there was I think it's a Revolution Pro Wrestling.
So it was a joint promo between those guys.
Yeah,
super indie tournament basically.
Yeah,
which is cool, and he got a title belt to signify his win, and he came out with that, which was kind of cool. So Dragon Lee's the King of the Indies.
Oh, the first match he wrestled Taguchi.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, he wrestled Taguchi, Brody King, and Flip Gordon in the finals.
Very interesting that I wouldn't really consider Dragon Lee a King of the Indies type guy because he pretty much just wrestles in Mexico. You know, he's not a prominent. Hey, maybe he will be starting to take more
indie bookings.
But it
was weird. I mean, Taguchi was in this tournament. They had Teton was in this tournament. So a lot of guys that you wouldn't really consider like
guys crossing the border.
Yeah.
Hey, if Donald Trump puts up that wall, this is all going to stop. That's the main reason I don't support Trump, because if he puts up that wall,
it's going to stop our great luchadors.
It's going to kill Lucha Libre from coming into the SoCal area and coming into the great states. Like, we can't have that.
Yeah, none of that.
What Pentagon is not going to be able to come to
Dude,
Florida? Like, what the
that
heck?
man Pentagon's like on every TV right now. That man's on Lucha Underground, MLW, Impact.
He's trying to put up a wall.
CMLL.
Donald Trump is literally... Okay, how about this? Donald Trump is in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Oh.
Donald Trump has ties to the McMahons. Donald Trump is putting up a wall. What company undervalues and doesn't treat luchadors, very well? WWE. They're trying.
It's a plan.
It's a plan, bro. This just all came to me. It's coming together. It's like,
I'm gonna inject the White House with poison.
Like, the wall's gonna go up and like all the like Mexican wrestlers are gonna be trying to get in, and like Donald Trump's gonna be standing there. There's gonna be a dude with a hood standing next to him, and he's gonna, it was me, damn it, it was me all along. And then that's gonna be the death.
Zero Mira, huh? You're gonna fear me, pal.
It's gonna kill all freaking Lucha Libre in the States. Like, it's gonna be it's gonna be Black Sunday Part 2. It's gonna live down day that lives in infamy.
Say goodbye to Lucha Underground.
Yeah, say goodbye to Arena Mexico.
To the temple.
Everything.
Oh
it's
my
done.
God. But yeah, back to this match. Hiromu and Dragon Lee. We've said that they were going to kill each other, and unfortunately,
bro, like you saying that, like my heart literally just dropped. Like when you said that, because I'm like, we have literally said in the past, like these guys are going to kill each other.
I mean, everybody says that. Like these guys are going to just go too far one day, and this was a match that one of them got hurt. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, and it is unfortunate, especially with two guys that have worked together so many times in the past. They have so much chemistry. I'm sure they have a working relationship and respect, and you'd have to have as many matches as they have had with one another, whether it be in Ring of Honor, whether it be in New Japan, whether it be in CMLL, or what or abroad. These guys have been going to war for 3 years now. And this was just the latest match in a long line of matches that they've had. And it was maybe one of the craziest matches I've ever seen them have.
Yeah. I mean, all their crazy spots. I mean, Hiromu diving.
This match was excellent. It was the match of the night. It's a junior match of the year contender for sure. This match was excellent.
Yeah.
I mean, we were popping a lot. Like, I actually had my buddy Reggie here, who is not a wrestling fan. I finessed him into watching this crap. I told him we were going to UFC, and then I was like, oh, well, we just got to watch this first. And then and he didn't really care for much of the show, but I think when he saw this, he was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
This was crazy. This was crazy.
Yeah, and the unfortunate spot here was Hiromu taking the Dragon Driver and landing...
The Dragonplex.
Yeah.
Isn't it
the Dragonplex the Power Bomb and...
No, the Phoenixplex.
The Phoenixplex.
That's what it's called. It's the Phoenixplex. Okay. That's the name of it. So this is a move that Hiromu has taken from Dragon Lee several times. He actually just got beat with that move by Dragon Lee at the Best of Super Juniors, and he lost in the Best of Super Juniors the year prior to the same move. I've seen quite a few of their matches. I can't recall any other instances where they've used that specific move, although I'm not saying that they haven't. I just can't recall it. But in New Japan, in the stories, the last two matches that they had with one another, Dragon Lee beat him with that move.
Right.
And if you've never seen this match, essentially what it is, it's kind of like you're taking the guy up like a power bomb, except instead of having, and excuse the pun, but instead of having the guy's crotch like right in your face, you kind of have him lower to where like his knees are just barely over your shoulders and he's kind of draped down. And then what you would do is you would fold him forward by grabbing his neck and pulling him in so you're forehead to forehead. And then you drop all the way. You bridge.
Yeah.
You bridge and you drop the guy. This is one of the most dangerous moves that's out there, honestly. You drop him on his shoulders and protect his neck with your hand while you're bridging. So he's totally cradled up. And it's a move that is very rare. You don't see it much. And when you do, it's always like jaw-dropping and very dangerous. And it's usually a match ender anytime you see it happen.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that had this landed accurately and correctly, we were going to see Hiromu kick out of it.
Yeah.
But things did not go according to plan. What happened, Jeremy? What did you see?
From my vantage point, it looked like Dragon Lee, like his hand slipped from the back of Hiromu's neck.
I think that's exactly what happened.
And when he went back for the bridge, he just tossed him, and Hiromu landed right on his head and his neck.
Oh my God! And I was so scared. And while we were watching it, I said, I think I was like, I'm afraid he broke his neck.
Yeah.
And the match continued.
Yeah, he had a freaking destroyer and, finished the match and it looked like, he was going to be fine. Hit the time bomb.
He didn't look fine to me. So when I saw that release take place and I saw him land on his neck, following that, I was paying, I don't always do this, but because of the situation, I was paying attention to his eyes and I was paying attention to his legs, and I was like, he's loopy. I remember like Rich saying, like, as soon as he hit the destroyer, you guys were both kind of like,
he's fine. Yeah,
he's fine. And I was like, that's when I was like, bro, I'm really nervous he broke his neck. And the only reason I said that, it's not like I'm a physician or anything, but dude, that was one of the nastiest
neck bumps.
It was just, there's no way you could have took that and just been okay. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, that was rough.
And then if you really think about it, there was that point where he picked up Dragon Lee, and I think he was going for like maybe the dynamite plunge or something. He just dropped him.
Yeah.
And I was like, that didn't look right.
Yeah, it didn't.
It didn't look right. Even the destroyer. The destroyer was still pretty impressive, but I was like, I could see in his eyes. I was like, he's out of it right now. It reminded me of when Evil got knocked out during G1 last year. It looked kind of the same. And then, and then when he finished the match, was that the dynamite plunger or was that the time bomb? Because it didn't look like the time bomb to me. And I haven't gone back and watched.
It kind of looked like the dynamite plunger.
That's what I thought.
The first watch, but a lot of reviews I've been reading say it's the time bomb. But I know people get those moves mixed up all the time.
It was over like real quick, and it was time to go home. And then I was scared. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was legit scared. But then, there was a part of me that was relieved because I was like, well, he finished the match and everything like that, so he's probably okay. And then yesterday, like, I was just reading the news feed and Wrestling Observer Radio. Someone posted in the Reddit, like, Wrestling Observer Radio is reporting that Hiromu Takahashi has suffered a broken neck, and I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah. And so this what I'm about to read comes from the Wrestling Observer. It says, while not confirming the exact injury that he suffered, New Japan Pro Wrestling provided a few additional details on Hiromu Takahashi's condition in an update overnight. New Japan Pro Wrestling officially announced that Takahashi has been hospitalized after suffering a neck injury during his IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship defense against Dragon Lee at the Cow Palace on Saturday night. They noted that Takahashi is currently undergoing a thorough evaluation, but is conscious and is able to sit and talk. Dave Meltzer reported yesterday that the original belief was that Takahashi had broken his neck on the Phoenix Plex spot that went wrong when he landed on his head and neck after being given the move by Lee. The match continued for a couple minutes after that, with Takahashi retaining with a time bomb. Kenny Omega also posted an out-of-character tweet today where he asked everyone to pray for Takahashi's recovery. As everyone may know, Kenny Omega isn't an LIJ guy whatsoever, but there's no mistaking that Hiromu was one of, if not our company's brightest current/future star. Let's pray for his recovery. #NJPW.
Yeah, that's really classy of Kenny. You know, it's good to see him in the public limelight, and it's not a negative.
Positive. Yeah.
But there's nothing funny about this situation. You know, we've been watching these juniors all year, and while the juniors have been having a banner year, I mean, we already saw something like this past year with Will Ospreay. We were scared then. And thank God he didn't break his neck.
Right.
And now something very similar. The thing is like, I don't know. Like, I don't think there are certain times where these guys are going above and beyond to like nearly kill themselves with some of these moves, and they're not necessarily necessary.
Right. You know?
Now I understand, you know, I'm not a wrestler. I think they all understand the risk of what they're doing and that sort of thing. And I'm not, it's easy to be like a Sunday, you know, Saturday morning, what do they call it? Monday morning quarterback.
Yeah.
But anyone who sees that move can just tell you like, wow, it's a dangerous move. There's not a huge margin for error where that could be, where that move could go right.
Right.
You know? I remember the first time I saw it, I think it was a match between, it was definitely Kota Ibushi. It might have been against Ricochet or it might have been against Kushida. It was during Best of Super Juniors, one or the other. And I'd never seen a move like that. It blew me away. And I think that's where the whole Phoenix Plex name comes from, because like the Phoenix Splash.
Yeah.
But man, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's really unfortunate. I mean, Hiromu has been on such a tear, such a run this year. And that match was just outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, this was another, you know, amazing match between these guys.
It might be their best match.
Yeah.
It really might be. I'm very nervous when you start talking about neck injuries. You start talking about, you know, even if he comes back, there's some guy, I mean, every case is different, but there's many times where people had to have neck fusions, things like that, and they're either done or they're, you know,
or it just shortens their career. And Hiromu has a bright future ahead of him, and this would be a terrible thing for him to just be done. Yeah.
I don't know. I first and foremost, I want him to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope his health that's the number one priority. But as a fan, he's one of my favorite performers, and I'd literally be devastated if he was done.
Yeah, same here. So yeah, I'll definitely going to be praying for Hiromu Takahashi and praying for his recovery.
Do you want to talk about the ongoing debate between the safe working style in WWE versus the dangerous working style in New Japan?
Sure, we can talk about that, since that seems to be like the hot topic on Twitter right now.
It seems like every time there's a show, there's got to be some sort of like major thing that pops up.
Yeah, the WWE diehards, you know, come crawling out of their shell and you know, try to find a way to bash New Japan. And there's all this conversation that New Japan the style is more dangerous than WWE. There's more injuries in New Japan, more dangerous injuries in New Japan. Of course, people are bringing this incident up. They're bringing up Shibata, Hanma. But the thing is, like, look at your own product. Like,
Paige.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan. How many times have other guys throughout the history of...
Dude, how many broken necks? Steve Austin, Kurt Angle, Edge, Chris Benoit.
Yeah. Plenty of guys.
Plenty of guys that have broken their neck in WWE. Look at all the
Bob Holly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, just, you know, plenty of guys. You know, one of the big arguments, and I think I think the reality is, I'm not in a position here where I'm like, you're an idiot if you think New Japan wrestles a more dangerous style. It's not. It is. They're wrestling a more hard-hitting style. There's no denying that. And you know, the juniors are doing more death-defying stuff. Although that's not to say that they don't do dangerous stuff in WWE. That would be a total lie.
Right. I mean,
just look at what's going on too.
Watch Buddy Murphy versus Mustafa Ali no DQ match from last week, man. Like,
yeah, and also look at stuff where like they're letting, you know, Brock Lesnar come in and hit people in the head with his freaking elbow down to the white meat. There's no way that's safe. There's no way. You know, they won't allow chair shots, but they'll let this shoot fighter bludgeon people. But with that being said, I think one of the biggest arguments between the two companies is like, when it comes to wrestling, whether you have a major injury or not, the number of dates that you work is the biggest detriment to one's health one way or the other. And there's no denying that, like, the safe style that they work in WWE, but the amount of dates they work in the long run has caused a lot more detriment to the professional wrestlers that are part of that company than outside companies. And there's no denying that. There's facts and figures for it that is the case.
Yeah.
And you know what? That would be the case too if they were wrestling as often in New Japan. Probably more so.
Right. I mean, the crazy thing is, like, Daniel Bryan, since coming back, has wrestled as many matches as Kenny Omega has all year.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So Daniel Bryan's been back Came back April?
Yeah.
And he's already wrestled more matches like Kenny Omega has this whole year.
Man, Kenny needs to step it up. No, that's crazy. I didn't know that. But the thing is like, you know, I feel like it's one of those things people want to talk about how dangerous New Japan is. Like, Paige's career just got ended.
Yeah.
It's not to say that New Japan is safer. That is not the case. But when you start to make the argument that the style in WWE is safer, that's not the case.
It's not.
It's not the case.
Any promotion anywhere, this is dangerous. Like we say,
your job is to fall down for a living,
right?
Okay, like your job is to fall down
on wood that's covered by like very little padding
on metal.
Yeah,
wood metal, and you're shocking your body with bumps. You know, there's no safe way to. I mean, there is a safe way to do it, but you're only mitigating damage. You're not eliminating damage.
Right.
Wrestling hurts. That's just what it is.
Right.
There's no way that this performance art, this sports entertainment, it doesn't not only hurt but cause damage to you long term. It's a damage.
And it goes back to, you know, our Daniel Bryan last bump conversation a few podcasts ago. Literally any bump can be your last bump, no matter what promotion you're in, what ring you're in. Anything can happen. Now, I mean, Dragon Lee's done this Phoenix Plex several times and has done it perfectly. But look.
One mistake. Look at a guy like Draws.
Yeah.
He got paralyzed for life, you know? Mm-hmm. I think that was against D'Lo Brown.
Yeah.
Stuff happens. That's not to say that there probably doesn't need to be maybe a hard look at what's going on in New Japan. And maybe there does need to be some safer, you know, implementation of, you know, the way that they work. That's probably a valid point. It's probably valid. Some of the risks that these guys are taking are probably unnecessary in the greater context of their outside lives. But at the end of the day, for someone to turn around and say this company is more dangerous than this, it's not the case. It's just not the case, because wrestling is dangerous. It just is.
Yeah.
You know?
End of the day, man.
But yeah, so I mean, it's unfortunate with this match because of how great the match was up until that spot, but we've been saying it all year. Every time we've watched Hiromu, we're like, he only has so many of these bumps he can take. There's only so many death-defying spots these guys can do, and Hiromu like has not given a crap about his body. I mean,
right? I mean,
and Dragon Lee's the same way too.
Yeah. So
I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I mean, what do you think? Do you think they need to reform, or do you think what's the answer there?
There definitely needs to be a reduction of neck and head bumps. There's still a lot of cool moves you can do without a move that drops somebody on their head and neck.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like that move that Hiromu's been doing where he, like, it's almost like a Jay Driller but worse.
Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
He didn't do that in this match, but I don't like that move. And this Phoenix Plex, even though, man, I like this move as far as, like, you know, but to me, it's almost more of a video game move.
I was just about to say, it's a great 2K18 video game move. It's
an incredible video game move, but I don't know that guys should really be risking their lives. I don't know that it's worth it.
Right.
I mean, that match was crazy. Like,
I mean, Dragon Lee has so much other great moves he can do. Like, he doesn't have to rely on the Phoenix Plex.
Yeah.
So
I was 4 3/4 on this match, and I'm very near 5 stars on it. As crazy as that sounds.
Yeah.
I mean, I really, 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 really dug this match. It seems like every month I'm watching a junior match from New Japan, and I'm like, this might be the best junior match of the year. And they're all just kind of running into each other, and not in a bad way, in a way where it's like banger after banger after banger after banger. They've been on fire, and it's going to be like I don't know necessarily that the main event matches, like the heavyweight matches, are gonna stand up to this string of great junior matches this year. Well, G1's coming up, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Our thoughts and prayers go out to Hiromu. If you guys have opinions on this or thoughts, let us know. Hit us up on Twitter. Hit us up on the messages on Reddit. We want to hear from you guys. We're not open. If we're wrong on our stance or something like that, call us out, whatever. Mr. ACP's taken me to task several times on message boards.
What's up, Mr. ACP?
But, yeah, man, I mean, I'm bummed.
Yeah.
I'm bummed. This is a great match, but I would give the great match back if I can
get a healthy Hiromu.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here. So it's hard to move on, but the next match was the IWGP US title match. The champion Jay White defending against Juice Robinson. Juice came out here dressed as a pirate.
This fool, bro. What was this man wearing that night?
I guess he was hunting for booty.
Oh my God. We need a Juice Robinson Velveteen Dream feud yesterday, or a tag team, one or the other.
Yeah.
My God. Yeah, this man came out in some, I don't want to say what it is. It was something.
Yeah.
And then Jay White came out with the NWO
Wolfpack.
Yeah. Oh man, looking like NWO Sting. He came out looking like Hybrid Sting from Bound for Glory 2006.
Yeah.
No, man. Actually, I liked Jay White's gear for this show.
Yeah, gear was raw.
That being said, have you heard? I don't know if you saw this, but there's people talking about him wearing the all red attire, while Okada has started to wear the all red attire, and that it might be somewhat of a callback to Chaos's early days, where the red was kind of like the signifying color of the group.
No.
With Nakamura being the leader. And maybe it's the fact that they both chose to wear similar attires is playing into the lead up to the match that they're about to have. Obviously there's been tension there regarding the leadership of the group. And I even saw a photo because remember during the match Jay White hit Juice with the low blow.
Yeah.
And there was a picture that was saved and someone was like, "Does this remind you of anybody?"
Pinchasa.
The Pinchasa. But yeah, this match,
dude, I really enjoyed this match. This match over-delivered for me. I did not have high expectations for this match, and for me, they knocked it out the park.
Yeah,
Jay White.
They really knocked it out of the park.
Jay White finally showed up.
This is the best Jay White match since he's had some good matches this year, but since that match he had with Will Ospreay back in Ring of Honor last year, this is the best match he's had since then.
A lot of people have been giving Jay a hard time, and we've been trying to wait it out. After the Tanahashi match, people were ready to bury him, but I was like, no.
Bro, that Kyle Fletcher match he had, in the UK, was excellent. And then this, it's like he's turned a corner.
Yeah.
It's like he's turned a corner, and we were watching this match, and Juice was excellent too. Don't get me wrong; these guys were magic together. Well, it doesn't surprise me either, the fact that they have chemistry, because obviously
they were in the dojo together as young boys.
Bro, my favorite during the press conference, my favorite interaction during the press conference was Jay White and Juice Robinson, because obviously we all know Juice is an incredible promo, and he was talking about. Basically he was like, "You broke my hand, brother." He was like, you might have broke my hand. You think that means I can't beat you? He's like, "If I could put you in that Pulp Friction." He's like, "Or I could roll you up, brother." He was like, "Just ask Kenny Omega." He was like, you get cocky. You think you're going to put me in that sling blade? I'll spin around. I'll roll you up. I could roll you up 1, 2, 3. And then that belt is mine. And he's like, "And what are you without that belt? Except just like a little weirdo that sits in the dark counting to 5.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. And then, Jay White was talking about you came into this company and you wrestled bigger and better places, and you spun the story that you're one of the young boys, but you weren't doing the chores. You weren't doing the things that we were doing. He was like, "How long were you a young lion?" "Not long." He's like, "Before they promoted you." He's like, you want people to think you came in the authentic way." He's like, you're not one of us. He's like, you didn't come in the right way. And I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is heat. This is good. But, Jay White, if you're not watching these promos with Jay White, you're missing out.
Dude, his promos have always been great. Yeah.
His promos are great, man. And so that got me really hyped for this match. And then when they got in there, they had so much chemistry. But
dude, this man Jay White was getting nuclear heat.
That's
bro.
what I was going to say. That was what I was going to say.
Heat, bro. Oh my gosh. The crowd hated this man, dude. And it was, I know some people are trying to say it's X-Pac heat.
Yep.
It's not X-Pac heat.
It's not.
It's not gender heat. Like, go away heat. It's not. It's his like legitimate heel heat. This match, why I love this match, it was traditional, man. You had your white meat baby face that the crowd actually loved and was behind, and then you had your dastardly heel that hated the crowd hated him, and he was gonna pull all the tricks out to try and retain the title here.
He's been healing it up all year.
Yes.
This is a guy who's coming into his own when it comes to his character work, but there's been something that's not been clicking the whole year. Like there's been like, it's been like stirring, it's been kind of simmering, and I've been like getting to the point where I'm like starting to lose my patience with the guy.
So was I. I was like, man, I'm done with Jay White.
He's a really good performer. He's a great promo. There's something he's coming into his own, but there's something missing. But then these last couple matches, I'm like, I'm back to where I was before. I'm like, actually, I'm above that. Like the stock with Jay White just went up, and my call that I think he's going to be the guy that has a standout G1 is starting to make. I'm starting to look a little smarter now.
I think he's going to have a great G1.
I think so too. Yeah, you're absolutely right. What you're saying about the heat, like this was a point that you brought up, and I thought was very, very interesting. Was back in April in Long Beach, he had a great match with
Hangman,
but no one cared.
Yeah, there was like no crowd reaction until like the last few minutes.
And what was the other thing that was smart was these guys came in and they just started brawling right away because they knew they weren't going to be able to follow that Hiromu and Dragon Lee match in terms of like that athleticism and the crazy spots. So they're like, they stole a page from
Chris Jericho. Yeah,
they're like we're gonna have an effing brawl. That's what we're gonna do, and that's what they did until it came back into a more traditional match. But it started hot, which is what you want from a match like this. There was heat between these guys. There was history. There was chemistry. And Jay White just healed it up.
Yeah, the crowd was solely behind Juice. They wanted Juice to win this thing so badly.
So badly.
Yeah, man. Dude, like I wish I could have been there live for that atmosphere, for that match.
Yeah, the thing about what impressed me with Jay White is every time he would do a move, it was the little things, like the little nuances. Like it was almost like Velveteen-esque. I don't want to say like not the same charisma, obviously, and it didn't pop me the way Velveteen does, but Velveteen's doing these little things all throughout the match, and that's what the great wrestlers that are out there that have great characters do. And all of a sudden, Jay White is getting it. He's getting it, and this crowd he got more heat than anybody on the whole entire card.
Yeah, he did. He was
by far.
Yeah.
And like you said, I do think that because people have been frustrated with him and things like that, they automatically think this crowd hates him, they're done with him. And I'm like, well, A, that's his job, he's a heel, but B, I think it's the fact of it's not that, oh, you suck as a performer and a wrestler, like a Jinder Mahal.
Right. It
wasn't like that.
There's a difference between booing a bad guy because he's bad and booing a bad guy because he sucks.
Yeah. And they were booing him because he was being a heel. Yeah. Which is so rare in pro wrestling, especially with this kind of crowd.
Yeah.
This Mark crowd that came out there to see this, and it was brilliant. It really, really made the match in my book. I thought it was great. I was blown by it, actually. I didn't expect it at all.
Yeah, dude, this blew my expectations. I really, really love this match. It's really close to actually being my match of the night.
Yeah, me too.
Just because
as I've thought more and more about it, like it left like an indelible impression.
Yeah.
I will say this, one thing I understand why they did it, but on the Kazuna Road Tour, I got a criticism. On the Kazuna Road Tour, the rule concerning the broken hand was if Juice used the cast, he could be disqualified. But if anybody attacked the cast, they could be disqualified.
Right.
In this match, it was, for whatever reason, if Juice uses his cast, he's disqualified. but they didn't make any mention of it being the other way, which does not make any logical sense to me.
Yeah.
And I understand why they did it as a storytelling device. They did the lip work to get the heat and the sympathy. They got a lot of sympathy on Juice,
Juicy,
which
yeah.
Juice is one of the best guys from underneath.
Yeah.
Like, speaking of which, how about this? Hot take. Juice Robinson has been building a little quiet resume that not a lot of people are talking about. I would not be surprised to see him be one of the guys. I don't think he's going to be Wrestler of the Year or anything. But when it comes to that discussion, he might be that outside dark horse sleeper pick that you kind of have to discuss.
Yeah. He's definitely worthy of discussion for that.
The match he had with Yujiro. The match he had with Elgin. The match he had with Tanahashi, which was excellent. Then he came out of that. He had the match with Goto. Now he's had this match with Jay White.
And then he's going to be in the G1.
Yeah, if he has a hot G1, and then he obviously, he's going to have some more great matches after that as far as the title picture is concerned. I would not be surprised by the end of it all that if we're talking about, Juice Robinson, number 5 pick for Wrestler of the Year.
Yeah.
He's having that good of a year. Also, is this guy going to win like Most Improved 2 years in a row?
I think so.
Like, my God.
It's going to come down to like him and Hangman Page, I think.
Chase Owens. But this match was awesome.
We got to talk about the controversial spot here.
Yeah.
So they're out brawling on the outside. Jay White suplexes Juice into the barricade, which knocks JR out of his seat.
Yeah, the table jetted back and hit him in the ribs and knocked him over, like literally out of his chair.
Right, and then Josh Barnett gets up, says you done effed up now. He goes to chase Jay White. And, ref Red Shoes is trying to get him, to go back to the commentating position. And Jay White's just like, avoiding him, like running away from him. And, there's been a lot of discussion all over the internet whether this was a work or a shoot. Originally, I was leaning towards it being a work just because, like, the camera, like, they zoomed up on Josh Barnett and, why would he do that if it wasn't really, he didn't even, like, check on JR. He just immediately hopped up. So that made me tend to believe that it was a work. But now, like, the more I'm reading about it and seeing comments and, like, even hearing about the health of Jim Ross, I'm now leaning towards this being a shoot.
So they actually did spots during the match quite a few times using the guardrails. For whatever reason, those guardrails were not connected for whatever reason.
Yeah.
In Japan, obviously, they have the blue guardrails with the doors when guys slam it. They're all connected by tape. They're taped together and everything. So when they slam into it, those doors go slamming, creates a real, cool, visceral effect, and the sound and all that is something that's unique to Japan. In the States, we have the big metal, steel guardrails, the gray ones, and they weren't connected for whatever reason. And Jim Ross and Josh Barnett were not the only guys that got hit.
Yeah, I mean, the ring announcer got hit.
Yeah, he got hit. They threw he threw Juice into that one so hard you could see the sparks flying off the floor.
Yeah.
I don't know why those things weren't connected. You would think like a big major company, number 2 company in the world, they would be able to pay somebody to connect the guardrails, unless they didn't want them to. Who knows? Maybe it's just an oversight. Like Chaz and Rance. But this is what my opinion was, and I think it's accurate. I could be wrong, but this is what I think happened, and it's what I felt like was happening when I saw this happen. So Juice got suplexed into the guardrail. Mm-hmm. That table really jettisoned, and it knocked Jim Ross down. I don't think in any fathomable way an elder legend person like Jim Ross, who has cerebral palsy, right? Or Bell's palsy. I don't think that they're going to be doing it. It's not WWE. I just when I saw it, I was like, that's not an angle. I don't think that there's any. Now, the intention could have been, it knocks the table into them, but I don't think that, and there's any way that they would have ever intended to hit Jim Ross with a metal, like a wooden metal table like that at all. So that part of it to me seemed very real when he got knocked over. And I've watched the tape a few times, and I think this is what I think happened. I don't think it was planned. I could be wrong. I don't think it was planned. I think Jim Ross got knocked over. I think that Josh Barnett was pissed because it probably hit Josh Barnett too.
You're right.
And he got pissed. He said, you've effed up now. Took off the headset. And, what did Jay White do? Jay White stood there. He's doing we talked about his heel performance. Is he going to break character in that moment? Is he going to apologize or check on Jim Ross? No. What do you do when you're in that role in that moment?
You live it up.
You live it up because that's what you have to do. Because that's
and what generated even more heat.
It generated so much heat because that was the right thing to do from a business standpoint.
Right.
I mean, there's no way he could have known how badly Jim Ross was really hurt. Plus, there's people checking on him. That's what you have to do. It's the pro wrestling industry.
Right.
When he started doing that, I think Josh Barnett, who already is a hothead, he has a history of having a bad temper, stormed out there and, kind of chased Jay White. What did Jay White do? He played keep away because A, it's part of his character. B, you do not want to mess with a former King of Pancrase, former UFC heavyweight champion.
Yeah, he's not trying to shoot with Josh Barnett.
No. And I've heard people say, well, if this was like an actual shoot, and Josh Barnett was jumping in there and he was trying to start something, then, Juice and Jay would have probably jumped him for interfering in the match. I'm like, well, A, he's not drunken fan jumping over the guardrail. He's Josh Barnett.
Right.
The guy who's the Metamoris champion. Like, no, you're not going to fight that dude. I don't care if you're both those guys. I don't care if you're Juice and Jay. He would beat both of them to get combined at the same time. I promise you. Been watching him since he was like 19. Since he was the babyface assassin. Since he was, on the juice. When he had the juice and he was on the juice. I've been watching him since then. And he could still murk both of them. Period. So no, I don't think they would have jumped him for interfering in their match. Second of all, he's a real wrestling personality. They're not, you know what I mean?
Right.
The other thing too is you mentioned to me that the camera kept on him. And at first when you said that, I was like, you know what, that is, maybe it was an angle, but I thought to myself, I said, in that scenario, Josh Barnett comes out. No one's getting hurt, but Josh Barnett storms out. Cameraman doesn't know if it's work or a shoot. What are they going to do?
Right. Put the camera on.
Let's say it was a shoot. The cameraman doesn't know what's going on. What are they going to do? They're going to put the camera on the guy that's
coming out. Yeah.
That's just what you're going to do. I think that this was a shoot incident. I think Josh Barnett was really pissed. I think he came out. I don't think it was planned. I think immediately once he realized that, hey, I probably shouldn't be out here, he's a carny mother effer. And he started working because that's in his blood. Yeah. And I think when he to de-escalate the situation, they all just started working and got out of that situation and let the match continue. And another thing that tells me it wasn't a work is how lifeless and how non-passionate Jim Ross has been on the whole card. And then when that happened, he was pissed.
Yeah.
He was fired up. He was angry, and you could tell he was hurt. And I think it was because the situation was real.
Yeah.
The other thing too, they didn't talk about the situation again later on in the show. They didn't have Josh Barnett making snide comments about how he's going to get payback or whatever. Could they turn this into an angle later?
Yeah.
Sure. Could it have been a work? Sure. Do I think it was? I don't think it was.
No.
I don't think they're leading to anything. And I don't think they plan to use Josh Barnett as a talent.
Oh, no.
In the new, they could. He's an excellent.
He just got released from UFC.
Yeah, they could. He's an excellent wrestler, but I don't think he's not going to be in the G1. I don't see him headlining a show with Jay White. Jay White's a guy they're pushing. I don't see them bringing in Josh Barnett. Yeah. He's a shoot style guy. He's one of the best. If you've ever seen any of his work, I've seen some of it. The match with Hideki Suzuki from the New Year's show a few years ago was really great, but he's never fit well into the New Japan roster.
Yeah.
And also, let's say they were going to bring him in. To put it in context, because Jeremy, I know you're familiar with him, but I know you don't watch him. Josh Barnett is like Brock Lesnar in Japan. He's he was the youngest UFC heavyweight champion. He fought in Pride. He was a finalist in the Openweight Grand Prix in 2006. He's fought all the top legends over there. He was the final heavyweight King of Pancrase. He just won the Metamorphs title a few years ago, which is like a really big deal. Over there, he's like, and he's fought I think he's had kickboxing fights too. So, I mean, he's a big name. It'd be like bringing him in for a fight would be like bringing in Brock Lesnar. You only do that if it's going to be
a big fight.
But he's an attraction. He's not a guy that you bring in and have on the regular roster and have do road to shows. You just don't do that. I don't see them doing Jay White and him, and I don't see him jobbing to Jay White if they were to bring him in. Like, Josh Barnett's not coming in to do a job.
Oh, no.
That's why I don't think that this was planned.
Yeah, and I have a little report here on Jim Ross' injury. Once again, this comes from the Wrestling Observer. John Pollock reported this morning that Jim Ross was in the emergency room due to a rib injury suffered when his chair was knocked over in the spot where Jay White whipped Juice Robinson into the guardrail in their match at Saturday's New Japan show in San Francisco. Ross was very upset because he said that on Friday night before the show, he had asked New Japan officials to keep the wrestlers away from fighting near their broadcast position.
Yeah, I heard that.
Knowing the amount of fighting done in the crowd that they do. Ross said the usage of barricades around the ring that weren't connected, so they tipped over on impact, should have not been the case, and that he has had to cancel 3 commitments this week due to what happened. He said that it was not a planned spot or any kind of a work. Ross was diagnosed with issues involving both his lungs and ribs and was told to be cautious at the present time for fear of contracting pneumonia. The rib injury has led to very significant pain when he moves, coughs, or yawns.
Yeah, and both him and Josh Barnett have come on social media and both said that was not a work or a planned incident whatsoever. Now, of course, that's what, if you were working, that's what you'd say.
Right. But I don't know. This seems a little bit too real for me.
Yeah, and I mean, could it be a work? But I mean, I don't know. Something really, he really got hurt. Mm-hmm. There's no denying that. Was it planned? I don't think it was. Was there some working in there? Yeah, because they're wrestlers. That's just what they do. I've been watching Josh Barnett for years, and this is a guy who, when he was in MMA, like, they're always like, can you just cut out the wrestling crap? Can you stop like cutting promos? Can you stop trying to work yourself into an angle? Like with the in the MMA world, like he does it because he's carny. You know, all these guys are. But at the end of the day, I don't think this was planned.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
So anyways, moving on. And hey, again, if you guys think differently, let us know why you think. But I think I laid out a pretty compelling argument, just saying.
So after that, the match continued. Jay White used that heat. There's a spot where the ref
got bumped. And Juice hits him with the cast, and hits the Pulp Friction, for a near fall. Yeah, and I was like, when he got the near fall, I was just blown away.
Dude, I was like, Jay's winning.
Yeah, and I literally in my mind thought Jay is winning. And I was pissed because this isn't the first time we've seen him hit the Pulp Friction this year. Didn't he hit Goto with the Pulp Friction after the punch?
Yeah.
And not pin him. And I think he also, same thing with Tanahashi. So there's been several times this year alone. I think also with Kenny Omega last year.
Yeah, and the G1.
No.
The U.S. title match.
U.S. title match.
Yeah.
So he's done this spot where punch, Pulp Friction, 1, 2, kick out. Dang it, my finisher sucks. I changed my name to, Dolph Ziggler, basically. And I was bummed because I was like, oh, God, Jay's definitely winning.
Yeah. As soon as Jay kicked out, I'm like, oh, he's winning. And so then Juice then hits or Jay White goes for the Blade Runner. Yeah. And Juice counters it into a schoolboy. And gets the big win.
Yeah, and also White had hit him with like that sleeper suplex a few times. He kept dumping him on his head. And he also hit Jay White with a low blow, and they teased a second ref bump, and he hit him with the low blow. Yeah. So I was just like, he's cheating. He dumped him on his head. He's gonna hit the freaking sling blade. We've seen Jay White hit so many guys.
The Blade Runner.
I'm sorry, the Blade Runner. We've seen him hit so many guys with the Blade Runner this year that it just seemed like that was the outcome was coming. And I was like, freak. Like, I was so pissed. I was like, they're gonna break our hearts again. And then all of a sudden, Juice scoops him up, cradles him. 1, 2, 3.
Just like he said in the promo,
like
man. I could roll you up.
He said, "I could roll you up, brother. I could roll you up."
That's exactly what he did.
And you know what was smart about that? It showed the resiliency of I saw people criticizing this finish, and I think they're crazy. I see people who said, why couldn't he just hit him with his finisher and get put over big? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think that's also fans who in their mind think that Jay White's not a main event player.
Right.
And they don't realize, like, they got big plans for this guy, and I think he's about to beat Okada. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
So, no. He's not about to get beat with a Pulp Friction. And
plus, like you mentioned, it's been the story in all of Juice Robinson's big matches that he hits his combo and doesn't get the job done. So that played into the story of his matches.
Yeah, I think the deal here was they got us again because they made us feel like he was about to win. He didn't get the win. It looked like Jay was about to cheat, pick it up. You know, here we go again, and then they swerve, bro. And Juice got the crazy roll up just like he did against Elgin during the New Japan Cup this year, and just like he did against Kenny Omega during the G1 last year. Mm-hmm. I thought it was great. It's something that he's been saying. Hey, I could roll you up, brother. I could roll you up. He said it in promos during the press conference and on the Kazuna Road Tour, and and it was prophetic because it's exactly what happened, and it's smart because it protects Jay. Jay's about to go into the G1. He's gonna have a big G1. He has to still look strong, and so they are not gonna have him, you know, eating a finisher and looking up at the lights. Just not gonna happen. But it's an emphatic pinfall win. So it still puts over Juice. Juice beat this guy clean. Yeah. Against adversity, against, you know, having a broken hand, against this guy cheating, against everything. He still was able to pull it out. And it was such a feel-good moment. And it was such a smart finish. It was
awesome. Yeah, crowd erupted, popped for the Juice win. And Juice was like celebrating in the crowd. He like kept coming in and out of the ramp.
The commentary, I don't mean to hurt, or, you know, I don't mean to punish the commentary.
Yeah.
But, I mean, obviously, you know, they had that incident and it wasn't good. But all throughout the match, man, they were burying this match. There was one point where they were on the outside for a while. And Jay White did keep breaking up the pinfall. But it seemed like Jim Ross hadn't caught that. And he was like, they've been out here for 2 minutes. Where's the... And he was already pissed because of what had happened earlier. Right. And he's like, it's just craziness out here. And he's letting his emotions get the better of him. And, I mean, obviously, I don't know. I've never called a match at all, or especially one with a broken rib, so I could only imagine. But... Again, he buried the crap out of these guys during this match. Like, he was the one. Him and Josh Barnett were killing this match.
Yeah, I don't think they understood like the whole background or the history of the story.
They didn't know. Oh yeah, when the match started, and they were like that. They were saying that there was going to be a special rule concerning, like, audibly, Jim Ross was like, "Oh, here we go." Like he was like, "Are you?" Like, it was one of those, like, we've seen this a million times. Like, it's a trope, you know.
Right.
And I was like, "Well, Jim, if you were watching the product at all, you would know that Jay White, or I'm sorry, Juice Robinson has a broken hand, and that this is part of the story. But you're not familiar, and it's not your. It's, you know what? My deal with it is, hey, if you're not familiar, that's fine, but you shouldn't be calling this." Bring in Kevin Kelly.
And Don Callis.
They know what they're doing. They represent this product. I'm sorry, man. Like, you wanna build this thing and watch it grow. You put freaking Kevin Kelly in the seat.
Yeah. But yeah.
Let me spin, coach. Let me spin. Put Booby in. Booby Miles. You ever seen that movie?
No.
Oh my God. Friday Night Lights is great. Let me spin, coach. Let me spin. But yeah, this match was great. I popped, man, and I was so happy.
Yeah, this was like, I feel like definitely an awesome moment. So now on to the main event of the evening, the IWGP Heavyweight Title match.
The IWGP Heavyweight Championship.
Kenny Omega, the champion, defending against the American Nightmare, Cody.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
How about Cody's entrance, bro?
Dude, I loved it, man.
He looked like King Mabel.
Look, he was a man on a mission, all right.
Yeah, bro. He came out with the purple attire. They had him hoisted up. All he had to do is like, I don't know where Sir Mo was, but he needed a Sir. I guess that's
Brandy.
No, Bernard.
Oh, Bernard. Yeah.
They needed to get in the ring. Hey. No, actually, they stopped doing that when they were heels.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Cody's entrance was great. Kenny's entrance was great. Kenny actually wore the same gear that he wore during their first match.
That was an interesting callback.
Yeah.
And I thought it was cool. I wasn't expecting the Young Bucks to be seconding Kenny.
Yeah.
There was no mention of that. And boom, the Young Bucks were there.
They were there, and I was like, oh, they're back together. The band's back together.
Yeah.
The Elite.
The Elite.
Break it down. The Elite.
So, I will say, this was a good match, but it was not... I don't think this was the Kenny Omega match that a lot of people were looking for. There was a lot of gimmicks and smoke and mirrors, which I thought was fun, but it was not what people were looking for. From what I've seen.
Let's make one thing clear though. People are like, "Oh, it's not the Kenny Omega match," you know. Yeah, from the last year and a half. Mm-hmm. You ever watch Kenny and DDT? You ever watch Kenny when he first started his run with the IC title back at, after he turned on AJ? Those were a lot of gimmick matches. This was just like his matches back then. Maybe not the same level, but I mean, go back and watch him in Tanahashi. Go back and watch him in Elgin. You know what I mean? Like go back and watch his junior run. This is the kind of stuff he was doing. This is what Kenny likes.
Yeah.
Like anyone who thinks like, oh, it wasn't like the Kenny match. I understand what you're saying. It wasn't, like the Okada epics. It wasn't like the Ishii epics. And Kenny has that in him. And I'm sure him and Cody could probably do that. But that's not what they wanted to do. That's not the story they were telling. And that's not what they put together as a match. This was fine. I didn't think it was, a match of the year contender. But I didn't think it was I didn't even think it was just a good match. I thought it was very good.
Yeah, I thought it was very good too. I mean,
I got it around 4.25.
There was a lot of innovative spots. I mean, the freaking ladder, man.
I was scared. They were scaring me with that ladder. I thought.
Yeah, I mean, the crowd was saying, "Please don't die," and that's what I was thinking. Yes, please do not die. And freaking Cody superplexing Kenny off the top of that ladder, man. That was a crazy bump.
That was a crazy bump. The one bump that they did with the table where Kenny Omega power bombed Cody outside of the ring onto the table. Like he was
freaking Mike Awesome.
Yeah, I was like, they probably shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
They probably, because that table didn't even break and it didn't break his fall. It actually hurt him. Cody really got banged up a lot in this match. There's no denying that. And this was, we've talked about this a few times on the show where I've said that I haven't been able to go back and watch the Kenny and Cody match, but once I knew this match was coming up, I decided to rewatch it, and I think you did too.
Yeah.
And I was overly impressed with their Super Card of Honor match. For all the tomfoolery and all the stalling and all that stuff that I thought really dragged the match down in my memory. I went back and watched it and I was like, no, this match ruled. It was as good as I thought it was the first time I saw it.
Yeah.
4.5. And one of the best Kenny Omega matches of the year. And one of the best Cody matches of the year. That match was awesome. I thought it was better than this match, but with that being said, that's the story that these guys have been telling. The first match, Cody was the one who controlled the pace. He was the one who controlled the tempo. They wrestled his style. I've seen people say like, well, they didn't wrestle Kenny Omega's style. I'm like, I watched this and I was like, I don't know. It looked like it had Kenny's handprints all over it to me.
Right.
This is a much more violent match than the first match they had. And I mean, how many V-triggers did Cody eat?
I think it was like 13 or 14.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
It was like 30.
So you're just going to knee him in the face a bunch of 25 times.
It was like 40 V-triggers. It was a freaking lot, man. He was killing Cody. Like, I think Cody wished someone was there with the white towel to throw that crap in.
Yeah, where was Brandy?
Yeah, where's Brandon? Yeah, he was getting killed. These guys went. I don't know. I understand that maybe the match structure was kind of weird, or maybe people who are used to the Kenny Omega epics, they want to see him, go out there and have like these athletic Marvel technical matches. But he even said in his last promo, and he said it also on the air with some of these podcasts. He was like, hey, Okada was doing this thing. You know, he was having these epic matches. He's the best wrestler in the world. I'm a better entertainer than him. I don't know that I can live up to the level of wrestling that he was doing. He's said, I'm going to bring something different to the table. I'm going to do something different. I think this is the start of him trying to do things that are different. Remember, he's the one who wanted to have that ladder match
with Elgin.
Yeah. He's the one who had that crazy brawl with Chris Jericho back in Wrestle Kingdom. Like, was that a Kenny Omega match? Think about it. I mean, I've seen Kenny Omega have plenty of matches like this. This seemed like it had Kenny's fingerprints all over it. I'm not saying it was Kenny's best match, but I thought it was more than solid. I was entertained. I enjoyed it a lot.
They took a lot of risk out there.
Yeah, they did. And you know what? That crowd liked it.
Yeah.
That crowd had a heck of... They were entertained. I was entertained. There were people who didn't like it. I don't know. I don't get it. You know, of course, you're entitled to your opinion. You know, if you don't enjoy it, you don't enjoy it. Whatever. I'm not like, oh, you're an idiot. It's not like that. But I just, I don't know. I feel like maybe people didn't give it a fair shake because I feel like it was a really good match.
Yeah, it was a good match.
It's not like, I mean, it wasn't 7 stars, I guess. Whatever that means. But it was great. And ultimately, Kenny went over. 1 Winged Angel. 1, 2, 3 for the win. Cody got humbled. Cody got defeated. And... that brought us basically to where they were fighting for the leadership of the Bullet Club. I assume now that means that Kenny is again the leader.
Right.
And then, we got the post-match.
Yeah, he cut a promo saying, being the champion, you see more people trying to knock you down, but we all deserve a second chance. And he put over Cody's performance and just, kind of left with a positive message. Goodbye, good night, bang. The Elite, they go on the stage to celebrate. Next thing you know, you see Tama Tonga, Tangaloa, and King Haku come out and are celebrating with them. And you think, it's a normal Bullet Club ending. And then... And you were like, ready to like jump out the door, like go to. I
was trying to watch Stipe Miocic against what's his face?
Yeah, and I was like, man,
what's his name?
DC.
Yeah, Daniel Cormier.
And Rich and I were like, I don't know, man. I think there's gotta be something coming. I was like, and you're like, what could they do? And then I was like, what if Tama jumps them? And then literally right after I said that, they jumped them boys, jump zone, and they beat the crap out of Kenny and the Young Bucks. And next thing you know, Tama rips his shirt off to reveal the Firing Squad Bullet Club shirt. So they lay out Omega for double team powerbomb. They beat down the Bucks. Hangman Page tries to make the save, but he gets taken out. Marty's girl comes with the umbrella, tries to make the save. He gets taken out. Chase Owens and Takahashi come, and they're trying to make peace, but they get taken out. Tonga gets a chair, and he's Cody. Then Cody comes out, and Cody acts like he's gonna hit Omega with the chair, and he hits Tangaloa. But then he eats a gun stun from Tama Tonga. Haku pile drives him, and the Firing Squad laid out Bullet Club Elite.
Yeah. And, I thought it was interesting that, Chase and Yujiro were the last 2 guys who came in, and they've kind of been aligned with the original, Bullet Club guys and all the Tongans, and they took them out too.
Yeah.
Which I thought was very, very telling, and I didn't actually expect that. This was excellent. This was done so well. I wasn't expecting it at all. I was expecting, however, for there to be, people were hypothesizing and saying that essentially, we were going to get the Bullet Club splitting off from the Golden Elite, which I would have assumed would involve Cody and all the rest of the Bullet Club guys going against the Golden Elite, but that's not really the way it ended up working out.
Right. So the split we got the Bullet Club Elite and we have the Firing Squad.
And the Firing Squad shirt still says BC on it.
Right.
Really interesting thing. Like they are still claiming the Bullet Club name.
Right. So it's almost like some NWO stuff. You have NWO Black and White and NWO Wolfpack. So you got the Bullet Club Elite and Firing Squad.
Even more telling, there's a few guys who were absent on this night. Bad Luck Fale was not present. Neither was the Bone Soldier.
Taiji Ishimori. Those are two Bullet Club guys who many people hypothesize are probably going to fall more on the side of the Tongans in the Firing Squad because. Obviously, Fale's related to them. He's cousins with them. And, right.
He is from New Zealand, but I think he's a Tongan as well.
Right.
And then Ishimori was
Tama brought in Ishimori.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how that's going to work out. But with that being said, this was shocking, man. And it's been building for a long time. If you think back to the stuff with Tama Tonga and the Elite, going back in December, we were talking about how he was pissed about the one sweet stuff, the two sweet. He's had things to say on his.
I mean, you remember the rampage he went on G1 last year?
Yep. So, I'm not surprised. We've been waiting for this. I'm excited for it because I'm a big supporter and fan of Tama Tonga, and I think I've been waiting for him to kind of step out and be like the guy. And they're doing it. This was great.
Yeah.
And Haku was just all over.
Yeah, dude, man. Haku got his money's worth for that payday.
They're bumping all over the place for Haku.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wow. I wouldn't be surprised to see, the what is it called when it's the villain and the Young Bucks?
The supervillains.
I wouldn't be surprised to get a supervillains versus the Tongans versus the Firing Squad.
Yeah. And
I wouldn't be surprised to see the Firing Squad take that belt off them.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, this was crazy. This was really. And then, did you mention about how Cody? They did the tease where it seemed like was Cody going to join up with them?
Yeah, he came out. Yeah, he had a chair. He was going to join with them, but then
that was another moment where I was like, what's gonna happen here? I don't really know.
Yeah.
And then after they left from the beatdown, and the Tongans stood tall, and they had here's the thing I liked about it. They had a shirt made in advance. This was definitely premeditated.
This was premeditated, yeah.
This was premeditated because they had merch ready to go. I don't think it mattered who won this match because they had merch ready to go.
Right. So whether Cody or Kenny won, they were coming out to.
I think the burning question everyone's wondering is where's Juicy Gino Gambino going to fall when all this? Which side of the line?
Oh, he's on the Firing Squad. Bad Luck Fale's the one that brought him in.
Jeremy. He's not part of the Bullet Club.
Dude, I saw the video. Bad Luck Fale gave that man a shirt.
Where's Stephen Amell gonna fall on
Bullet Club Elite.
I'm being facetious. You're giving me real answers. Oh man. But at the end of the night, Cody and Kenny reconciled. Yeah,
they hugged and the Bullet Club Elite celebrated on stage.
They've been teasing this for a while. I don't know if you remember me saying that during the press conference, there seemed to be almost no animosity really between Kenny and Cody.
Yeah.
And then, with back at Dominion when he started to come out and on being the Elite, he was telling Hangman, this is Kenny's night. And then he almost came back and apologized, but then he couldn't do it.
Right.
And so I was definitely expecting with, going back to February and all the stuff with Kota Ibushi and Kenny and Cody that we were going to see an implosion, but I think there's too much money in the brand and too much money in what they're doing that they can't really do that.
Yeah.
So, Cody doesn't want to lose that Bullet Club money.
Right. Yeah. Cody's like, not either. You want me to leave there? I'll stay in. I'll stay in.
So I don't know what this means really. And we'll talk, the new Being the Elite came out, so we'll talk more about that, with the news, but, great card. Great show. Before we move on, what were your final thoughts on this overall?
Overall, I thought it was a great card. I thought it was a better overall show than Strong Style Evolved.
I do too.
Great show. I mean, all the title matches really delivered for the most part. Like those last few title matches.
I think how when they left Strong Style Evolved and people were hypothesizing how the excitement level was maybe a little bit down and it might not carry the momentum over for the next a future show. Suddenly after this show, how great it was and how well booked it was and everything. Suddenly, I think the momentum's back.
Yeah,
going in for the September show. So. Well done. Really, really good night. I mean, how can you complain when you've got, 4 matches that are, above 4 stars, 2 of them that are both, maybe in talks for match of the year? Like, you can't. Great. And a night that's going to live in infamy. I mean, King Haku made his return. Josh Barnett made his return. Hiromu was injured. Is it crazy? There's a lot of like memorable, for the better or the worse. There's a lot of different things that happen. So.
Yeah, good stuff.
G1 special in San Francisco, baby. I can't wait for G1 special in Tampa.
Yeah, I know, right? That'll be awesome. All right, so now we got the G1 Climax 28 coming up. The first night is this Saturday, July 14th. So let's talk about some of these matches real quick for the first 3 nights, the 14th, the 15th, and the 16th. So July 14th is A block. We have Togi Makabe against Yoshihashi, Bad Luck Fale against Hangman Page, Michael Elgin against Evil, Hiroshi Tanahashi against Minoru Suzuki, and Kazuchika Okada against Jay White in the main event.
So by the time our next recording comes up, how many nights are going to have passed?
3, I believe. These first 3.
Oh, wow. So
our next episode is the 17th. So yeah, all 3 of these nights will have happened.
Wow. Man. So yeah, you're going to have to scoot that over here so I can see that as well. Okay. So we're looking at, is this your pick'em?
This is the Voices of Wrestling spreadsheet thing.
Did you already do your predictions?
I started going through it.
Oh my goodness. All right, cool. So on night 1, so like you said, so you want to just run through the nights real quick?
Yeah.
Cool. So Togi Makabe and Yoshihashi, what are your thoughts there? What a way to start off the G1 Climax. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I think again Yoshi, and my predictions are not completely final. I still have to go back through and readjust everything based on points and stuff, but I have Yoshihashi beating Makabe here.
Oh, dude, I'm getting like a knot in my stomach thinking about predictions because I'm like, ooh, it's too early. Like I haven't even started to think about it. Togi Makabe, Yoshihashi, I could see that. I could see that.
I feel Makabe, he's going to be definitely one of the fall guys in the A block.
He'll win some matches.
He's gonna win some matches, but
he's gonna. But Yoshihashi, I think that's probably the way to go with the way they book in this company. Plus, I mean, yeah. So I'll agree with you there, Yoshihashi. Okay.
Then Bad Luck Fale and Hangman Page.
Oof.
This is a tough one.
Is this night gonna be good? These are, I don't know. Like Makabe and Yoshihashi's not really doing it for me, and then Fale and Hangman Page. Now the only thing with Hangman and Fale is the Bullet Club stuff.
Yeah, we got Firing Squad against Bullet Club Elite here.
Right off the first night. Yeah. So, wow. Fale.
I don't know. Right now, I might change it. You might convince me to change it, but right now, I'm leaning towards Hangman Page.
I don't need to convince anybody to do anything after how terribly I got everyone to, with that Best of Super Juniors tobacco.
Look, my picks are not final right now, but I'm leaning towards Hangman Page right now.
Fale is a bruiser. He's a killer.
He does really well in G1s. I know. Does
well in the G1. He is going to come in there so heated up and so fired up because of everything that's going on with the Bullet Club Civil War, which is that's the feud that will never end.
Yeah.
And Fale's hitting with the Bad Luck Fall 1, 2, 3, night 1.
And then Michael Elgin and Evil.
Woo. Oh man, that will be that could be really good or really bad.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's a strong style match.
Me too. I mean that has all the potential in the world to be a great match.
And I think everything will be able that night.
This is a match that could go either way. These guys have a lot of room to go. It doesn't matter at what point you put this match in the tournament because it's a pick 'em match either way. because I think both guys will have similar points by the end of it.
Yeah.
I'll go Elgin on that one.
All right. And then we got Hiroshi Tanahashi against Minoru Suzuki. The rematch from the IC title.
This is going to be great.
And I'm going with the ace here. He's going to get that win back from being humiliated by Suzuki. So, yeah, go ace.
Man, I am torn here. Wow. You don't think Suzuki could win with, like, interference?
He could, but Tana wants that win
shenanigans?
back. Tana needs to get that win back.
That's true, but I'm also thinking to myself, like, wow, well, what if Tanahashi, like, loses and then still has something to come back for later?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Suzuki. Suzuki.
Then the main event, Okada against Jay White. I think we're both in agreement that Jay White is going to pull the upset here and beat Okada.
Yeah, I'm taking Jay White.
Yeah.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are going to be mad after that if that happens. So next up, June 15th is B Block night. First, we have Tomohiro Ishii against Toru Yano.
Yes. So I'm gonna go. I don't want Toru Yano to beat Ishii.
I'm going Yano, man. I feel like Yano's gonna get the upset on his buddy here.
No, I'm not going against Ishii. I got Ishii.
Okay. Then we have the new U.S. champ, Juice Robinson, taking on the now leader of the firing squad, Tama Tonga.
Ooh, this is going to be... Bro, suddenly Tama Tonga's stock has gone way up.
Yeah.
Way up. And I got Tama Tonga with this somewhat of an upset.
Yeah, I got Tama Tonga as well.
That's going to be good, though.
Yeah.
That's going to be good.
Then we got Hiroki Goto against Sanada. I'm going with Goto right here.
No, I'm going Sonata.
Okay.
I got Sonata, and I think that's Sonata going for a never title makes a lot of sense to me.
That's a good call. Then we got Kota Ibushi against Zack Sabre Jr., the submission master. I'm going with Kota Ibushi here because Sabre got the last win, right?
In the New Japan Cup.
Yeah, so yeah, Ibushi's going to get that win back.
I agree only because I see Ibushi. I think both guys will have fantastic tournaments, but you know what? Nope. I take it back. I think Ibushi's going to have a great tournament and maybe even win the block, but I'm going Zack Sabre Jr.
So you're saying Sabre is kryptonite?
And at this point, I think, yeah. I think
Didn't Sabre beat him in the G1 last year?
No.
Oh, it's Ibushi won?
Ibushi beat him with the last ride.
That's right. And then Sabre got the win back in the New Japan Cup. So this is a rubber match. Okay. And then the main event, Naito against Kenny Omega. I'm going with Naito with the big upset to set up a future title match.
I've got Naito as well, and the way I've got it booked, it's a Golden Lovers double loss on that night.
And then July 6th.
Also, let's not be coy here. Naito versus Kenny Omega for the past 2 years has been
fire.
Probably the best match of the tournament in both tournaments, and match of the year contenders both years. So for everyone that's been talking about Naito's year and how losing to Jericho hurt him so badly, just wait. He's gonna defeat your boy. He's gonna defeat Kenny Omega, the best bout machine, in one of his best bouts of the year. He's gonna beat Kenny Omega clean, and it's gonna set up a future title shot. And Naito's right back where he was. Suck it.
Then we have July 16th, A Block, Yoshihashi against Evil.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Evil there. You gotta go Evil. Plus, he's gonna lose to Michael Elgin the night before, so.
Well, I got Evil with the back-to-back wins. Everything is Evil. Michael Elgin against Hangman Page.
I'm gonna go Hangman.
Okay. I'm going with Elgin on this one.
That makes a lot of sense. I think Hangman should probably lose everything, but seriously, look at if we're just looking at this block, like out of all the guys that are there, There's not a lot of guys in this block that I could really see Hangman Page beating. Maybe Yoshihashi.
Makabe.
Maybe.
Jay White.
No. Probably not. Maybe. But yeah, I'm going to go Elgin. Did I say Hangman?
Yeah, you said Hangman at first.
I'm going to take it back. I'm going to go Elgin.
Big Mike. All right, next up, Okada against Bad Luck Fale.
I'm going to go Okada.
Yeah, I'm going Okada here also. Togi Makabe against Minoru Suzuki. I'm going Suzuki. He's going to kill Makabe again.
Before we move on, I want to go back. Fale has a big history of giving trouble to Okada.
Yeah.
If he beats Okada, I won't be surprised.
Yeah, I won't be surprised either. And then the main event, Tanahashi against Jay White. I think Tanahashi is going to beat Jay White.
Yeah, I agree.
It's going to be...
Wait, no, he already beat him. No, Jay White. Jay White's getting the win.
You think Jay White's going to beat Okada and Tanahashi back to back?
Yeah.
Wow. You're hearing it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Yep, I do.
Wow.
Yep.
So yeah, those are going to be the first 3 nights.
Are we going to do like a proper G1 preview, or we're just going right into it next week, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, next week these shows are going to be happening.
All right.
I mean, we kind of did a preview a couple weeks ago. But yeah, I mean, next week these things are going to be happening. These shows are going to already have happened.
So where are we going next? We going into the news?
Yeah, going into the news.
All right, cool. So the Strong Style Evolved UK shows just took place. We watched those. We're not going to do a full review, obviously, but
yeah, we gave the results of the matches on last week's show.
But what were your thoughts with these shows, and what were your impressions? What matches stuck out to you? What performers were impressive to you? What were with the changing landscape in the UK? What were your thoughts here?
Overall, I thought both nights were both good nights. I mean, Walter is a guy that always stands out to me every time I see him.
Me too.
I love the Walter Yuji Nagata match. Love that match. It was very hard hitting, and I think it was a perfect matchup there. And him crushing Yujiro Takahashi the next night was great as well.
That was a really good match.
Yeah.
I mean, for what it was, I enjoyed the heck out of it. Plus, Yujiro with those 2 girls. Woo.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. I was also impressed by Kyle Fletcher of Aussie Open. He's only 19 years old. That guy has a bright future ahead of him. I mean, and then obviously the main highlights were, Ishii and Okada against Sabre and Suzuki, the British tag title match. That was a very awesome tag match. And then the follow-up the next night, the one-on-one with Okada and Sabre was very good, with Sabre getting the big win there. And then the main event, Suzuki and Ishii for the title, was another awesome, hard-hitting match.
That was the match of the tour for me.
Yeah, both nights that was the match of the night, a match of the tour. Suzuki is your new undisputed British heavyweight champion.
He's over like Rover over there, dude.
Yeah, they set up an angle with Walter. He big booted Ishii after that show. So I believe it's August 17th, we're gonna get Walter against Ishii. And then I'm assuming that Walter is gonna beat Ishii, and we're gonna get a Walter Minoru Suzuki match for the undisputed British title sometime in the future.
Yeah, man. What did you think about David Starr?
And this is going to be a hot take probably for a lot of people, but I really don't care for David Starr.
Yeah.
Actually the first time I really saw him in action was WrestleMania weekend. I thought he was all right, and then I've seen him here, and he's just fine. I mean, to me, he's just a guy. And he came off. That's what he came off to me.
I like his entrance.
Yeah,
with the promo, with all that. But as far as his in-ring work is solid, but there's nothing that really sticks out to me.
Yeah,
literally nothing.
I did like El Phantasmo.
A lot of people said the same.
He was in that 4-way cruiserweight title match. He was, I liked his performance. Ishimori was also good in that match.
What were your thoughts about the Dominator?
the great Okarn.
The great Okarn. Now that we've seen the actual work and we've seen this, great, Killer Khan gimmick.
I kind of have mixed feelings about it. I think he looks very comfortable in the gimmick. I will say that. It seems like it's something he's really biting into and enjoying, and I think he pulls it off well. I don't want this to be his gimmick full time, which I don't think it will be.
I literally don't think there's any possible way that this could be a gimmick in Japan, so I don't think that is the point of it whatsoever. Right. I don't even think that this is a long excursion from what it sounds like. It sounds like he'll be there for a matter of months, more so than anything else, or at least that's what the rumor is, or that's what they're saying.
Right.
I think it'll be a short-lived excursion gimmick. They're guys look at Okada. Okada had that gimmick in TNA.
Okado.
Yeah, the Tempura Boys before they were Roppongi 3K.
Yeah.
Lots of guys, go. I mean, there are guys for instance, Sammy Lee, which Sammy Lee was Tiger Mask when he was in London or in the UK. Same thing with freaking Liger. When Liger was in the UK, he had a different gimmick as well. I forget what his name was, but yeah, a lot of guys have done that sort of thing. So I think that this is teaching him character work, how to play to a crowd.
Yeah.
I think that's all it is. I think it's just a learning experience. I think people that are being oh, this is so 1980s and yada, I'm oh, at least they got him on the card.
Yeah.
I've seen lots of guys go on excursion, they don't even use them.
Yeah.
So, this feel like a New Japan card to you, or it felt like a Rip Pro card to you? What do you think?
It felt like a New Japan show to me. There was a lot more
with Rev Pro production.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of New Japan guys. I mean,
I'll tell you, man, we got matches on this that we've never gotten with say even the Ring of Honor and New Japan combined shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Suzuki and Ishii.
I felt like they did a better job putting top guys against top guys and just making even the Nagata and Walter match. Obviously,
that was awesome.
Obviously Nagata's not winning the IWGP title anytime soon, but that was still a really good matchup that they made.
Yeah, speaking of Walter, if you guys want to check out cheap shameless plug, you guys should check out the latest episode of Grown Men Watch This Shit. Our good friends from the UK, our good friend from the UK, Chris Bryan, as well as his co-host, Jeremy Tate.
I thought he's from Australia.
Is Jeremy Tate from Australia? I don't know.
No, Chris Bryan.
What did I say?
You said UK.
Why would I say that? I'm just tired. From Australia. My bad. Sorry, Chris.
Think about Ricky and Clyde.
I don't know. I'm just tired. Well, we're talking about the UK, so that's why. They recorded their show this past week, and they recorded with the great Pierre Carl Ouellette, PCO. And he talked quite a bit on the show about the match he had with Walter, his experience with him in WXW. Definitely check out that show. I mean, these guys, they've had Jonah Rock on their show now PCO. I don't know who's next. They're about to have Joey Janela, I bet.
Dude,
some crap,
that'd be
Great
awesome.
Sasuke, who knows? But yeah, definitely check that out. But yeah, that was kind of eye-opening, them talking about Walter. And Walter is a guy that I'm just please come to New Japan. Please.
Yeah.
We'll put the IWGP title on you. Just come. But how about Zack Sabre beating Okada, man?
Dude, that was a big surprise, man. I mean, obviously, I saw the results before I watched the match, but just even when I read the results, I was like, what? Sabre beat Okada? Yeah, he pinned him in one of those bridging roll-up gimmicks that he always does.
Yeah. And I liked the match a lot. I liked it a lot. I didn't think it was as good necessarily as their match from Sakura Genesis this past year, but I really dug. I thought it was great.
Yeah,
great match. So I mean, any final thoughts?
Overall, I mean, I highly recommend watching both nights. They're both up on New Japan World, English commentary with Kevin Kelly, and I forget the British gentleman's name that was doing it with him. But I thought they played off very good together, and it was overall, great show.
These shows or the UK tournament shows from the network?
Ooh, I don't know. They both had stuff I liked.
Battle lines are drawn, man.
Yeah.
We live in a new dichotomy, man. You're either with us or you're against us.
Can't we all just get along?
We ready to get into some other news?
Yeah.
Okay, so earlier this week, with the G1 Climax coming up, New Japan just released a bunch of new product. It's on their news section of their website. You definitely want to check out. They got some awesome shirts, man. This stuff, I'm like, why didn't they have this in Daytona the other week when we were there? I would have definitely picked up some of these shirts. But yeah, check it out. They got all kinds of new shirts. I know we've said that in the past, but these, I saw them today. They're awesome. So definitely want to check that out. Also, the video game that we mentioned the other week that was the official sponsor for the G1 special in San Francisco. That's called Dream Girl Bang something. Really weird name. They just did a commercial with Kenny Omega, so he's in another video game. This is the third video game commercial. I mean, this guy.
Kenny did say he's going to start doing more commercials, and he wasn't lying.
Well, he's the face of video games, so
yeah.
That should be dropping soon. In other New Japan related news, the King of Pro Wrestling mobile game just dropped. So I know last week we talked about a beta version that came out.
Yeah.
The official version has dropped.
Yeah,
it's free.
I downloaded it.
What'd you think? Have you played it?
I played it, but I don't know, man.
You don't get it?
I wasn't feeling it.
A lot of people are saying that.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's the same game that they dropped a few years ago, but just with English, updated characters and then English translation. A lot of people are saying it's hard to play, though.
Yeah, it is hard to play. And, like, first of all, it takes forever. Like, once you download it, like, it opens up and, like, it downloads all this data. And, like,
I heard it's a big
takes
file.
forever. And then, it was hard to play. And, I wasn't feeling it. Like, I wanted to play, like, it's New Japan wrestlers. You start off being, like, a young boy. But it's hard to play.
Well, earlier this week, Uncle Dave Meltzer, was able to record interviews with Hiroshi Tanahashi, Cody, as well as Juice Robinson and Jay White. The Tanahashi all those episodes are up now.
Yeah, all those episodes are up on the Wrestling Observer website. I listened to all those today, actually.
You said they're good listens, right?
Yeah, definitely good listens. Tanahashi one's good. A lot of stuff he's saying in there, talking about wanting to be the Rock of Japan with doing movies, and just some interesting stuff he put over the Young Boys and put over Kenny Omega. It was a good interview from Tanahashi, and then just good stuff from Cody and Jay White and Juice. I highly recommend you check them out.
Naito versus Kenny Omega from the G1 Climax B Block Finals from G1 Climax 26 is the free match of the week. That was the first meeting between those guys in the G1 2 years ago. That was many publications match of the year for 2016. Definitely want to check that out. It's free. Trust me. If if there's a lot of our listeners who are like, how do I get into the G1? It's my first time watching it. Watch that match.
Yeah.
Yep. Tanahashi also had an incredible challenge this past week as he took on the former junior ace Kushida in a Fire Pro Wrestling challenge. Yeah,
so Kushida is like the Fire Pro Wrestling champion, and Tanahashi was challenging. And I watched this video, and it felt pretty epic for a video game title match, but in the end, the heavyweight ace defeated the junior ace. Tanahashi beat Kushida in the Fire Pro game, beat him with the young boy Boston Crab, and now Tanahashi is your new Fire Pro champion.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. Also, I don't know, did you see the video earlier this week of Hiromu Takahashi on the beach?
I didn't see it, but you told me about it.
So there was if you go to his Twitter, he's got a whole like family video basically of him on the beach with Belto-san, Trophy-san, and Daryl Jr. And it's like a family vacation, and it is just freaking hilarious.
Wow.
So yeah, if you get a chance, definitely go onto Twitter, check that out. There was also this past week, so from their time when they were out in the UK, there was a documentary that came out with Suzuki, and kind of following him around in his time in the UK, and they basically just dropped that. So if you get a chance, that's on New Japan World. Check out the documentary that has Minoru Suzuki on there. Also, speaking of Hiromu, so, this kind of goes into, talking about, obviously we know what just happened with him and his incident. He had some statements. Chris Charlton on his Twitter basically posted where he was asked about the importance of foreign excursions. And he said it wasn't Mexico that made the Hiromu Takahashi of today so much as changed him back. The guy you see now is really me as a child. When I joined New Japan, I felt a strong pressure to fit in. I felt the need to behave like a young lion, like one of the group, even to be behaving like someone in their third year in the business. But going to Mexico reset that. It wasn't about fitting in, but starting from zero, not wrestling like a young lion, but going back mentally to wanting to become a wrestler in the 7th grade and basing everything off that. Mexico was a chance to retake my childhood. So some heartfelt sentiments from him. He also talked, I saw some statements earlier where they're asking him about, the style of wrestling that he does and how dangerous it was. And he was saying, basically, what's dangerous? Everything that we do is dangerous. He was like, if you get hit with a forearm, for a regular person who gets hit with a forearm, they're done. He's like, but we take them and eat them up all day, and no one acts like that. So dangerous. They talk about the big jumps and the big falls. He's like, everything we do is dangerous. He's like, every move that you do could be your last move. Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. Also, we have you might have noticed that Kota Ibushi wasn't on this show. He didn't second Kenny Omega. Many people are kind of wondering where he's going to fit in with the whole new Bullet Club kind of storyline. I think we kind of know where the whole Golden Lover thing's going. Yeah. Spoiler alert. But Chris Charlton also tweeted out that earlier this week that he was battling the flu, and that he was sick, and that he was trying to recover. This is the second bout of the flu that Kota Ibushi's had this year, and he's promising that he will be in tip-top shape by the time the G1 comes up. So we hope he has a speedy recovery. Also, in Ibushi-related news, there was a statement where someone asked him, kind of about the Golden Lovers and like where he stands with them, and he said it's a real-life anime. Your name, our hearts moved the same way together. I guess everybody wants to say that we're a couple, and then he laughed. I don't know whether it's as simple as to express that, but we're two people that share one heart. That's what I want to say. So take that for whatever. Yeah, whatever you want to. Whatever you think that means. That's going to cover most of the New Japan related news. A couple of different U.S. expansion based things. So we already kind of did the announcement of the upcoming U.S. shows. Do you think it's too soon for them to come back in September, considering All In is, earlier in the month? Personally, I think it is too soon. Personally, if I were them, I wouldn't come back for the rest of the year. But I understand they're trying to do more shows in the U.S., and they are back at the Walter Pyramid, which they've sold out very quickly. And we've kind of see that there's a group of probably about like 3,000 fans that are already there in that area that will buy New Japan shows. So the show is probably going to sell out. So yeah. Did you see Mark Cuban had an interview again with Sports Illustrated concerning the U.S. expansion? Yeah. I checked that out. Really good stuff. He was talking about how going into the next year, they're going to have even more specials. Yeah. Take that for whatever that means to you. And that he's very proud of what they're doing, and, that he thinks they have the best wrestling in the world. So Mark Cuban, sees value in this product, and they're doing big business, and he's investing in it. So yeah, really good stuff there. In news outside of New Japan, so if you watched this past week, you would have noticed that Cody Rhodes was no longer blonde. Right, he's back to the dark brown hair. Apparently, it's for the project that he's going to be working on that's keeping him out of the G1, the Slimmer. Yeah, so, he's going to be on television. He was offered a role, and they said basically no to the blonde. So yeah, that's what's going on with that. Also, since Cody last week did not win the NWA title, on the most recent episode of what's the NWA 10 show? Pounds of Gold. 10 Pounds of Gold. Nick Aldis basically said that he wanted to renegotiate the match with Cody, which we've all been kind of dreading, if we're being honest. I don't really want to see Cody and Nick Aldis at all.
Yeah.
But this earlier today, a new episode of 10 Pounds of Gold came out, and looky, guess who the next challenger for Nick Aldis is going to be?
Flip, Gordon.
So, is my theory coming true?
Yes. Flip's going to beat this bum, and we're going to get...
You know what's funny is, like, I've seen, like, people like what's it called from Wrestling Observer, like what's Brian Alvarez. I've seen like Brian Alvarez and different people, so I'm not the only one who's had this theory, but I had that theory
way before anybody.
Like as soon as everything popped off. I'm just saying, like, saying.
So Flip's gonna beat that bum, and we're gonna get Flip versus Cody at All In.
I don't know if that's what's gonna happen, but Cody did tweet in response to this, and he said, "Are you freaking
kidding me?" Yeah.
Speaking of Cody, he will be taking time off until All In. Some people say it's because of a television.
Well, you know that's what I saw that he was taking time off till All In, but then he's advertised for a Ring of Honor show July 20th.
He may. I mean, we don't know. I mean, he may be working like limited dates or something of that nature. But I think like. Well, we've heard rumors that he's had issues with his back.
Yeah. Going
back for months now. And, that was a really physical match he had with Kenny Omega. I wouldn't be surprised if he does need to take some time off.
Right.
And kind of focus on the projects he has.
Card subject to change, but I just saw an advertisement today with him against TK Orion, I think, for July 20th.
Okay.
I think it's the same night that Flip's challenging Nick Aldis.
That would make sense.
It's on the Honor for All card.
Also, Cody was asked about doing All In 2, and he said that they've already been approached about doing All In 2. Did I see that All In was going to be on Fight TV?
Meltzer asked Cody about it, and Cody was like, we are looking at traditional ways. We're looking at pay-per-view. We're looking at Fight TV. He's like, I can't say anything official yet, but we are looking at all those options.
Huh.
So it's not official yet. He said probably Tuesday there might be some more information about that.
Speaking of All In, so we've got some news. So SCU is All In. So I guess they're gonna be having a trios match, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'm thinking them against Stephen Amell, two partners of his choosing.
Okay.
Since Daniels tried to frame Stephen Amell.
Oh. You guys can't see it, but we're both pointing to our foreheads.
You gotta be thinking, man.
Yeah, wow.
You gotta watch the product.
Also, Deonna Purrazzo is all out. She's a terrible girlfriend.
Yeah. If you didn't know, she's the girlfriend to the villain Marty Scurll.
I would dump her if I was Marty, and then I would send her my way. For Deonna,
I'd risk it all.
I'll risk it all. And we have our first official announced match for All In. Marty, the villain, Marty Scurll, taking on the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada.
I'm just excited that I'm going to get to see Okada live in a one-on-one match.
I'm not that excited about this match.
I know you and a lot of people are kind of down on this match.
I'm not down on the match. That has nothing. I think I have different reasons. I feel like I'm different. No, I think a lot of people are down on it, and I think it has more so to do, from what I've heard. There's people who don't like Marty Scurll. I'm not one of them.
Right.
I think this match could be great. Here's my thing. This is my thinking. This is a super card. In a way, this is kind of a match we wouldn't normally get because it is a junior taking on a heavyweight. So yeah, I get that. But I'm like, dude, you got Rey Mysterio. You got Pentagon. You got Phoenix. You got Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, all Joey Janela. Like, I don't care. Like, give me something weird, dude.
Yeah.
Give me like these matches that I can like. Literally, I saw people that were like, Pentagon versus Okada. They're not gonna do that logistically, and I'm like, it's their card. They can do whatever the crap they want to do. Give me freaking Pentagon against Okada. That would be so. We're never gonna see it. Give me a match that I can't possibly see.
What if New Japan did limit who Okada could wrestle?
Probably.
What if they're like, yeah, he can be on your card, but
They probably did, man.
he has to wrestle a New Japan guy?
Yeah, I don't want to be overly critical. It's just, I just got so excited. Like, I already feel kind of bamboozled because they got my money, kid. And now, we don't know any of the card. And I'm just hoping, I'm hoping that when it all shakes out with the type of talent they have, that this ends up being like an incredible, incredible card. Right now, I'm not sure how it's going to shake out, so I'm nervous about it. That's all. But, we're getting Skrull and Okada, and I think that would be a great match.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great match. I mean, I'm excited to see Okada singles match live. I think it's going to be a great show.
Yeah. Other news having to do with the All In guys. So we got new Golden Elite t-shirts. You could see Matt and Nick Jackson sporting those last Saturday night.
Yeah.
So those are at ProWrestlingTees.com. If you're a Golden Elite mark like Jeremy.
I already got one, and I'm good. I need to get me a Firing Squad shirt now. No, I was playing.
Also, those Firing Squad shirts are up for sale. Did we talked about the Young Bucks and their Funko Pops last week or not?
Yep, we did.
Did we say that they're the number one seller in all of Hot Topic and they're outselling every other brand?
I don't remember if we did. I think they had just came out last week.
Well, they're already the top sellers in all of Hot Topic.
Top draw.
Yep. Also, the guys from All In, the entire Being the Elite cast is going to do Talk is Jericho live on the cruise for the Jericho Cruise.
Yeah.
So if you're going to be there, that's something that you want to check out. They just announced that. It's pretty cool. Also on the cruise, we are getting a match, Ring of Honor versus Impact. Sami Callihan taking on the villain Marty Scurll.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah, so that's going to be on the Jericho Cruise. That was announced this week. Pretty cool. Couple other things let's talk about. So Michael Elgin worked some indie dates this past week, which he really has been working almost none this past year.
Right, in the U.S., yeah.
And I heard he had like this big heartfelt speech, take that for whatever, everyone falls on different sides of this thing. No opinion on it. Well, I do have opinion on it, but, we've already kind of talked about it in the past. So, but yeah, it seems like Elgin's working indie dates again.
Yeah.
So who knows what that will lead to. WWN and WXW have announced a talent trade between their schools. So the school here in Largo that's headlined by
former IWGP Junior Tag Champion Matt Sydal,
and they'll be trading like students and talent and sharing with the guys over in Germany. So that's kind of interesting because it seems like WXW kind of has a deal with New Japan to a degree, like they're kind of connected to all those different promotions, and WWN's kind of connected to WWE. So very interesting.
Yeah,
very, very, very interesting. Brandy Rhodes has a bag that she is releasing. I think it's like $1,300.
Louis Vuitton
Bullet Queen bag. So any of our listeners, the female folk out there, if you want the Bullet Queen bag, you can get one now.
Or fellow, if you want to prove your love,
I think it's ugly as crap. I would never buy that for anybody, but okay. Also, we got news from Down Under. So Melbourne City Wrestling, which has been kind of working together with New Japan for the last couple years, they've got future shows announced with New Japan talent. Will Ospreay is going to be headlining a show on July. Well, I don't know if it's headline, but he'll be working a show on July 21st against, I think it's Lockie Hendrix. Yeah, Lockie Hendrix. Don't know who that is, but I'm assuming it's a local Australian talent. And then on August 18th, Tetsuya Naito will be making his return to Australia, taking on none other than Jonah Rock.
You can hear on the Social Suplex Podcast Network on Grown Man Watch This Shit.
Yeah. So he was just interviewed by them. He's blowing up, and he's going to be wrestling Naito, which is awesome. And then, do you have those star ratings for Best in the World and the CEO show?
Yes, I do. So, just real quick, these are Meltzer's star ratings for both those shows. The opening 6-man tag with the Kingdom against LIJ got 2.5. Flip Gordon against Bully Ray got 2 stars. The 8-woman tag got 2.25 stars. Aries versus Kenny King got 3.25. Jay Lethal versus Kushida got 4. Punishing Martinez against Adam Page got 3.75. The Briscoes against the Young Bucks got 4.75. And then the title match, Dalton Castle against Cody and Skrull, got 3 stars flat. And then moving on to CEO. Let me just get that real quick. So the opening match with Chase and Rance and Aaron Epic got 3 stars. There was no rating for Nakazawa against Skinny Boy, and Alex Shibeli against Nakazawa. Liger against Rocky Romero got 2.75. God against Juice and Finlay got 3 stars. Jeff Cobb against Chase Owens got 3.25.
Yeah.
Taguchi and Dragon Lee against Roppongi 3K got 3.75.
Wow, that's high.
And then the main event of Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi against Naito and Hiromu Takahashi got 4.5.
Really? Was it that good?
I mean, it was a good tag match.
I remember it being good. I don't know about... Man, 4.5 seems awfully high. Okay. I think I was like 4 stars on that. It was a good match. Awesome. So, yeah, we got that. Chris Charlton's book. We've mentioned his name a lot on this. Obviously, he's a asset to the New Japan community, and he's very active on Twitter. And like I said, you guys got to follow him. But his new book, Eggshells, which is a history of pro wrestling in the Tokyo Dome, is officially dropping on July 17th. So, like in a week, not even, less than that.
Yeah.
You can check out his Twitter. They've got plenty of information. It's going to be available for physical copy as well as e-copy. Trust me, you want this book.
Right. And like we mentioned earlier, our friends at Voices of Wrestling, if you win their G1 Pick'em, that's a prize.
Awesome. The Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, we keep talking about this, but the WWE stuff is every week. It keeps coming up. It keeps coming up. So Kenny Omega recently stated that, he felt like he could thrive in a WWE, atmosphere because, he feels like sometimes he needs restraints for his creativity to almost thrive, because with no restraints, there's no parameters for him to do what he needs to do. Whereas if he's given restraints, he can find a creative way to make something with that structure. He can work outside the box of that structure and find a way to be successful. He also said that it would be a missed opportunity.
Yeah, if he couldn't work with guys like Seth Rollins and AJ Styles.
The Young Bucks this past week, they've been asked about it, and they asked, why did they start following you guys on Twitter? And Nick was like, I got a really good Twitter. And they said, ultimately their decision whether they're going to go or not comes down to what's best for them and their family.
Yeah.
You think they're going? Every time it comes up, I'm like, you think they're going?
I could see Kenny going. I don't know if the Young Bucks are going.
I could see them all going. They got a lot of money. They're trying to get that NBC Universal and Fox money.
But remember, Young Bucks got young kids. I know they work a busy schedule right now, but they get to see their family a lot. They get to be home for birthdays.
But Kenny Omega has Kota Ibushi.
You'll sign him too.
I feel like they might. Well, they did say they asked him if they're going, and they said contract season's coming up, boys.
Yeah,
get ready. So we'll keep you posted. But man, I'm getting nervous. I'm getting nervous, man. I'm getting nervous. Let's talk about Jay Lethal, Taeler Hendrix, and the Ring of Honor controversy.
Yeah. So we mentioned that last week. That came out last week, right? We mentioned it last week.
I don't think it did. I don't think so.
Well, anyway,
did it?
I can't remember.
I think it came out after the show.
Okay, so
I could be wrong.
I could be wrong too. But former Ring of Honor star Taeler Hendrix, she was a part of the House of Truth with Jay Lethal and Truth Martini and Ring of Honor. Came out. Somebody on Twitter. She was in a Twitter conversation, and it came out. She said that Jay Lethal told her that the reason she was taken off Ring of Honor TV was because she wouldn't sleep with Jay Lethal. So Ring of Honor.
Well, she said that he told her that they sabotaged her career.
Yeah.
And got her taken off TV because she wouldn't sleep with him. The funny thing, though, and while we're talking about, I'm just gonna lay out some of the facts. This isn't coming from a biased standpoint. This is just a fact. Okay, take it for what it is. when the whole thing came up with Jay Lethal, she immediately basically kind of came out and said, well, someone had said, I think something along the lines of like, I wish you were still part of the House of Truth. I miss the House of Truth.
And she's like, I don't miss it.
She said, it should have been the House of Taeler.
Taeler, yeah.
Basically, and that she was the real star. And
she was like, she pretty much called Jay Lethal a joke and Truth Martini a joke.
Yeah, and she said, basically, what has Jay ever done?
Right,
he's never drawn.
He just rips off legends, and
that's his whole legacy.
And Truth Martini just reads out of a stupid book.
Yeah, and she's like, so her initial reaction to the whole deal with Jay was, he's a joke, and then someone's like, well, he has all these accolades.
Like, what have you done? Yeah.
And they're like, what have you done? And then so she kind of shot back, and she's like, the guy that you're standing up for is, basically sabotaged my career because I wouldn't sleep with him. Now, I understand there's a lot of ways you could take that, and I'm not going to sit here and say it couldn't have happened. But I will say this. I don't think necessarily if someone brought up Jay Lethal, the first thing she's going to publicly do is come out and be like, oh, well, he sabotaged my career because of this. But it doesn't seem to be a good look if you're like, hey, Jay sucks because he can't, he doesn't have his own gimmick, and
right.
And then all of a sudden when someone kind of counters you and they're like, well, he's done this, he's done that, what have you done? And instead deflect and then be like, oh, well, he did this to me. And like with the Me Too stuff. Now, if he did that and it's found out, it's gonna be bad.
Yeah,
it's gonna be.
But I have a statement here from Jay Lethal.
Yeah, he responded to it.
He said, "Let me be clear. There's absolutely no validity to these baseless allegations. Throughout my career, I have sought to conduct myself with honor and integrity. I would never engage in any conduct that disrespects this business or the men and women in this industry. Every individual has a right to be heard and must be given every opportunity to speak the truth to power. Anyone engaging in misconduct or abuse or any kind simply has no place in our business or our society. I am confident that these unfortunate allegations will be proven to be completely unfounded at the conclusion of Ring of Honor's investigation."
Yeah, and Ring of Honor kind of came out and said that they're taking this very seriously and that they were going to do an investigation and, that sort of thing. And I think part of that's probably damage control. But here's what I will say with Taeler, whether this happened to her or not, and it's a well-known fact, she has a history of being hard to work with, according to almost every promotion she's worked in, and that's the word around the industry, of having like an inflated ego, mm-hmm. and basically being like a diva and almost impossible to work with. And she's said outlandish things about other people in the past on social media to where, let's say hypothetically, this is a real situation, and it very well could be. This is not to deflect and say there's no way it could be. It's going to be hard for her because of the way that she's conducted herself.
Yeah, she has ruined her credibility.
Yeah, her credibility. Not to say it's totally ruined, but
yeah,
it's not. When you conduct yourself a certain way, it's hard for people to take you seriously. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Now, I hope that if Jay Lethal, if this is true, I hope it gets found out, and I hope there is some sort of justice. But with that being said, and hey, Bill Cosby happened. Nobody thought that the Bill Cosby thing could have been what it was.
Right.
But so what I'm about to say isn't the end all be all. But I will say, you never hear a bad thing about Jay Lethal in the wrestling industry from anybody.
Right.
You just don't. And it's not just because we live in the area he does and we've talked to him or anything like that. Nobody has a bad thing to say about this guy, that I've ever heard.
Yeah, I mean,
I've seen people shoot on him and they talk so highly of him.
Right.
So could he have done it? Yeah. You don't ever really know what's going on with people, but it's not a good look.
Yeah. Yeah, especially he just won the Ring of Honor title.
Yeah, that's one thing. Whether he did it or not, who knows if they even decide to keep going forward with him as champion in the midst of something like this. But at the same time,
I mean, with them, they tape like a bunch of TV. So, I mean, all that's in the can with him as a champion. So, I don't know how they get around that.
it's a smaller company too, and at the end of the day, this could be something that just kind of gets forgotten about and blows over real quick.
Yeah.
Hard to say.
Yeah.
We'll keep you guys posted if we hear anything else. But yeah, that was one of the big stories this week. And then to kind of close the show out, let's talk about the latest episode of Being the Elite that just came out.
Yeah. So, I think it was called what?
Family Dinner.
Family Dinner, yeah. And another solid episode.
It was so funny. The episode opened up with Chris Jericho and the Young Bucks kind of giving a follow-up from last week when they were meeting in the room doing the Alpha Club.
Yeah.
And then when they were walking out, Chris Jericho realized that Marty Scurll had been in his closet the whole time. And Marty was like, listen, I heard you inviting those guys to be in the Alpha Club. What if you invited the villain? And then Jericho's like, nah. And he's
like, I don't have another Alpha Club shirt. He's like, what about that one right there on your shoulder?
And he's like, oh no, I got to give this to somebody else. And then he's like, you know what? We'll take you under consideration. And then he's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm just taking out some notes. He's like, is that a list? And he's like, no, it's not a list.
He's like, that's copyrighted by the WWE.
He's like, it's WWE copyright. I'm just taking down notes in a journal. And he's like, that looks like a list. And then eventually, he was, oh yeah, and he was like, Jericho, why don't you join the Villain Club? And Jericho's like, nah. And then after he basically kicks Marty out of the room, and as soon as Marty walks out, he's like, he just made the list. Oh, that popped me. So then we got a really important question from one of our listeners this past week. We actually didn't even ask for questions, but our good friend of the show, Kyle Morris,
he said we had to answer this question, this very important question: who killed famous dick wrestler Joey Ryan?
I don't think. Here's my theory. I don't think Joey Ryan ever did get killed. Obviously, like they said last week, they never found his body.
Right.
And I think it's one of those weird things where he isn't dead for whatever reason.
I think he faked his death.
Yeah.
Because of the hairy arm that touched Hangman last week.
Yeah, last week I thought that was Joey Ryan's arm. But it was funny this week because basically Hangman started freaking out. We've been hearing this weird voice. And apparently it turns out that it's actually
this
Hangman's voice. And he's doing a gimmick where he's like Smeagol from Lord of the Rings. He's like Gollum. He's Gollum and Smeagol. He's got the good side and the bad side.
Yeah.
And he's basically talking about how he killed Joey Ryan. And so it's a split personality thing. And then he started attacking himself it was straight up Fight Club, Tyler Durden sort of crap.
Yeah.
So really kind of, I've never enjoyed, to be honest with you, I've never, ever at any point during Being the Elite enjoyed the Hangman Joey Ryan feud.
Yeah.
The only thing that's funny about it is when they talk about Joey Ryan's hot wife. And then when they say famous dick wrestler, but and then last week's funeral was just excellent, but I've never really enjoyed their feud.
Well, that's probably going to be all in.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to wrestle it all in.
Yeah.
But the main part of the episode revolved around, the Bucks kind of talking to Cody and saying that they thought he was still the guy that they fell in love with 2 years ago on the road, and that he's still their friend and there's still goodness in him. And then they met with Kenny and they're like, we think deep down Cody's still good. And then Kenny was like, get out of here. And then Nick's like, can you not kill him, please?
Yeah. And then they were and Kenny's like, I'm just going to wrestle him. It's going to be a typical Kenny Omega match. He's like, oh, a typical Kenny Omega match. So you're going to knee him in the face 25 times.
And Kenny's like, he signed up for this. It is what it is. And I was like, before we move on, we got to talk about the bit when they're in the back talking about psychology.
Oh yeah, so Kenny's
one of the funniest things
Kenny's sitting there
with
glasses on, reading this book, and they're like, Kenny, we've been trying so hard to get to 7 stars. How do you?
No. They're like, how do you have a 5-star match?
And he's like, how do you break? No, he's like, how did you break the 5-star scale?
They're like, we can't. They're like, we can't have a 5-star match. They're like, we've tried, and he's like, huh. Well, let me. He's like, well, they're like, how'd you break the scale? And he's like, well, everyone knows that critics love a really, really long singles match over any tag match.
Yeah,
he's like, so you're already working from a handicap.
Yeah.
And then he's like, have you tried limb work? And they were like, we've done that. We've tried that. 4.5 was the highest we could get. Oh yeah, and he was like, they were like all nervous for the night. And
He's like, what's wrong? He's like, we're gonna have a 4-star match tonight, which they did.
And then he's like, ooh, 4. He's like, and then they're like 4.5. He's like, so low.
He's like, oh, that's so average.
That's so average. And then he was like, have you guys tried high spots? They're like, we've done it all, Kenny. And then they're like, what's your secret? He's like, I'll tell you guys my secret. I've been cheating. And they're like, how? He's like, and then he holds up this book and it says psychology. Oh my god,
dude, that's great stuff.
Yeah, that was really, really great. But at the end of the skit where they basically told like Kenny, they're like, hey, once this match is over, can you just not like don't hurt Cody too bad. So they had the match, and then they showed the clip from last week where
Nick had the vision.
Yeah, Nick was starting to have a vision, and he said something bad was going to happen. Well, it turns out that his vision was specifically the Tongans turning on the Bullet Club. So. But one thing that... Okay, so when they turned on the Bullet Club, when they turned on the Elite, the way it was set up was that they were all standing on stage, and behind them was Tama, Tangaloa, and
King Haku.
And they were all lined up behind, the Bucks and Kenny. One thing that I never noticed when it happened is that while they were posing, Nick started to have a vision, and his eyes were
behind his head, like the whole too sweet. His eyes were right behind his head.
His eyes were rolling into the back of his head. A picture of it, and like, oh my god, he was up there having it on live TV. They showed it on Being the Elite, and that's right when the firing squad turned on them. So that was just classic, man.
Yeah.
And then the episode ended with all the Bullet Club guys having dinner in a hotel room. Cody walks in, and he sits down next to Kenny. They've made peace. Everyone's banged up. Everyone's hurt. They're all upset. And then Cody just looks at them. He's like, how are we going to get these motherfuckers?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't mean to say that. I was going to say mother effers, but I said the actual word. I was channeling Cody. Dang it. Ugh. But anyways, man, bad mouth. But yeah, man, I've like cussed more on the show than I normally do. I don't know what I'm doing. But anyways, it's been a long week, ladies and gentlemen. And then they were like, what's up with King Haku?
Yeah. Like, what's his problem?
They're like, why is he beating us up so bad? And then that was pretty much the end of the episode.
Yeah.
So like the Elite's all back together, but the firing squad's separate. So I think that's going to do it for this week's episode.
Yeah, that wraps it up. Next week, we'll be back with the G1 Climax 28 coverage.
Wow.
And we'll do our best, ladies and gentlemen, to keep up to date with the tournament and have all the fresh hot takes and reviews from all the latest happenings in the G1. We want to thank you again for listening to another episode. Make sure you connect with us on social media. On Twitter, I am at Jeremy L. Donovan. The show is at KI Strong Style. You can follow Social Suplex at Social Suplex. On Facebook, we are facebook.com/Social Suplex. You can also find us in the Wrestling Squared Circle Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Wrestling Squared Circle. Also, you can follow us on Reddit. I am the Pro Black Guy. Josh is Keeping It Strong Style. Make sure you check out all the other shows on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. One Nation Radio, the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show, The Outsider's Edge, Grown Men Watch This Shit. And then also be on the lookout for a Social Suplex Radio interview with the Captain Aaron Nova from Tampa Bay Pro Wrestling. That should be dropping this week. So don't forget to subscribe to the Social Suplex Podcast Network and leave a rating and review. And until next time, goodbye and good night. Bang.
Thank you for listening to Keepin' It Strong Style. We'll see you next time.